Okay, now it's on. I was like, wait, why does my microphone not work? Should work now. I hope. Let me know if there's something out of the ordinary here. Wait, did I just nuke all my sound gates and stuff like that? Let me quickly check properties. I think they're still there. So let me know if my voice is doing something out of the ordinary. But yeah, the time has arrived for the weekly bounty hunters. Hope I am ready. Not just the technical difficulties, but I've been having some whatchamacallit. What is it? What is that thing when trees shoot their seeds straight up your nostrils and you're like, holy shit, that hurts? Allergies. Those are the ones. So hope that's not gonna kick up during the cast. But yeah, if you're wondering what sort of event we're running here, bounty hunters, we're basically a 7 straight show match event per week with skill-based matchmaking applied, happening every Sunday starting at 5 p.m. CEST. The event is free for everybody to sign up for, but since we're originally EU-based, the majority of our player base are gonna be from EMEA, and thus a little bit easier to match with other European players. Still doesn't mean that you couldn't make it, and we do have another US participant with us tonight once again. There's always a chance that we can find some fun arrangements like that, especially with the East Coast players. But yeah, as usual, the name of the game tonight is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is show match style, first to 7 wins for the next 3 hours. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's quickly start checking out what do we have on the roster tonight, because we have only a couple more minutes before go time. We're actually not sure which matchup we're playing first. It might be the Alisa versus Thunder Kitty one, since I think Scarecrow needed a little bit of stalling. But let's go quickly from the later slots. So just like last week, we're wrapping it up tonight with a cross-ocean NA versus EU match. PleaseDontLaugh made their debut last week, and once again back with perhaps some heavier stakes this time around. Initially, this matchup was supposed to be versus another newcomer, but that matchup setup fell through, and we had to reach for a bit of a wild card match. But then we've only seen Rats Asuka before, which is certainly a weight class or couple above, but the Nago matchup just might be a perfect fit here, hopefully. In the 6th slot, we have our top-seeded match of the evening, where Mox, working on the trademark Biken, is going to take on Civ's Ramlethal. Civ, of course, capable of piloting a couple of different characters at pretty high level, but I think Ram is perhaps the strongest one right now for her. Last week, Civ was able to take out a tough opponent in the form of... Can I remember? I think it was Munch's Jacko. And I think overall, Civ has been so far undefeated on the Ram pick on Bounty Hunters. I think that sounds true. Even if that's not true, that's going to be the storyline tonight to make it a little bit more hype. 5th slot brings us more Unika. Yes! Unika versus Sin, sibling rivalry to a rather similar characters. Jayce we've seen a couple of times in Bounty Hunters already, whereas Unikar making their first appearance tonight. Moving to the 4th slot, we've got a Finnish counter mirror match. We're looking for basically somebody to put a stop to Puuro's 3-game win streak, because that, even though it's, I wouldn't say 3-game win streak is short by any means, especially since it's been so convincing, Puuro on that Slayer. Whether that's gonna be Lussu who's able to achieve it tonight, gonna find out later. We also got Sweg Potemkin coming back after a short while. Gonna be pitted up against Scarlet's Testament. And an interesting, whatchamacallit, very... two different styles clashing again. And since Potemkin has lost White Wild Assault, I'm thinking like, what can true zoners do to these characters in the current patches? I guess we're gonna find out. Scarlet has been doing really well on that Testament. Very impressive plays. And then we have our two top matches, out of which, let's see, which one are we gonna play first? I think we have both Alisa and Thunder Kitty around, so that would be the safer bet. In order to make sure that Scarecrow does get to land safely in Planet Home in time and set it all up. So let me message Alisa and Thunder Kitty that we will indeed roll with these punches. A couple of minutes. Let's see, what's our ID for tonight? Is it the usual? I think I should know these things since I'm the TO. Shit. But yeah, you might notice that there is a slightly different character pick for what we've used to seeing from Thunder Kitty. Of course, Kitty, known as that super up and coming, maybe not very up and coming anymore, has shown really good results on the Johnny. Put in the sign-up forums that, you know, if there's no suitable match at the top level, sign me up on Nagoriyuki coach. And this is a little bit of wild card in the sense that I don't know Kitty's capabilities with this character too well. And of course, when you put a top level player on a new character, they already have like a little bit of that rhythm, a little bit of that ability to sort of power up to much higher skill level than somebody who just picked up a new fighting game and picked up a new character out of nothing. So there's potential for a lot of really fast progress for Kitty on this character. From that sort of angle, I'm not sure like how even this is gonna be. I hope it's gonna be even. And I think wasn't Alisa also playing on a different character previously? Let me check. I'm pretty sure that she did on a different one. Yeah, it was on Slayer, right? And that was on a decently high skill level match against Life. And this time, yeah, I'm not gonna sure what it's gonna be, but hopefully we have a good scramble here. Two interesting characters. We have two super heavyweights, and I've heard stories that this is not necessarily the easiest matchup for Nagoriyuki to pilot for sure. Because both characters have very high rewards when you guess right. Both characters take very little damage unless, you know, Naga goes on that high plot situation, which is kind of expected to happen for this character. You generally start your round with all of your blood resources available, and because blood burns are so damn difficult to challenge, usually you are like, okay, I'll just open it up. Let's do a couple of mix-ups. Let's do some frame traps. Let's do some, you know, blood burning to check if the opponent just wants to lose the round before anything substantial has to happen. So you often see, like, at the very, like, first 10-15 seconds, you usually see Nagos burning at least a little bit of blood to get started. And as that blood ramps up, well, Nagos' defense modifier also goes down. And that's going to be very relevant in risk-reward calculations against, you know, massive damage characters such as Potemkin. And in case that, you know, I should have probably asked Kitty, like, how many hours approximately do you have on Nagoriyuki? because it could be a lot of different kind of gameplay. I think Nago is a very interesting character to watch from sort of lower in sort of lower skill level brackets, because there are really high stakes for piloting your character correctly. If you make mistakes, you're gonna blood pop. That's gonna cost you a lot. Or will it? It's like there are a lot of different kinds of situations that could happen with your blood management, whether you pull it out perfectly or not.
So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame the
It's always a very interesting character in that sort of way to watch. Just like, for example, Soul Bad Guy is a very, very hype character to watch. You could see the opponent's life bar just melt away in just a couple of hits. Alright, Alisa on her second showing on Bounty Hunters. Thunder Kitty, one of our most common regulars, but on a completely different character. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, the first jump forward, jump slash, completely stuffing that. I think it was a clone Fukio attempt there from Kitty. To knockdown, now it's time to guess. We got Kata Busters on board. Perhaps got the side switch there that Alisa probably didn't want. Still, massive damage, and is actually almost able to bring it to the other corner. We're testing the reactions. Half a second check. Are you awake? If not, I'm gonna take half of your life. Wakes up with a buster, and that's surely gonna be a kill. I think, yeah, there was a decent amount of blood burned from Kitty already, so surely gonna go down from that massive damage from Buster. Both players starting the second round very patiently, checking what the opponent wants to do. Ooh, the reaction there! Punish on the fully charged White Wild Assault. Buffing into the Garuda. Next one is the frame trap into the flick. Oh, wait a second, wait, was that a backdash? Kitty with the opportunity here. 1 bar of blood available. Resets from the. Ooh, that's a lot of burn. That wouldn't be a pop, would it though? 6 heavy at the end is gonna drain some blood back. The math check out. The math does check out, and Kitty is out of the jail. Could RC here? No RC. The burst coming back soon, but there is no bursting command grabs. Whew, that was a very close one. Going to the last round with full burst resources. This time, the jump slash does not stop the clone Fukio. Jump into a good position. Bar slash. Looking for that first sweet amount of bar. Back Fukio bar slash is what ends up baiting out the reversal throw there from Potemkin. And now, burning a lot of blood, tapping the 5D. Ooh, but that's going in with a 2P afterwards. I think that's a 6-frame move from Nagayuki, right? And because 5D tap on hit does leave you on exactly neutral, usually a very tight kind of RPS situation if you choose to play. Generally not the best one. Is kind of like a pressure ender in a way if you don't have the 50 meter to spend. But depending on what your opponent wants to press afterwards. Ooh, anti-air Beyblade, the classic, jumping over the slight head. I think that was a reaction there. Or sorry, not a reaction there from Kitty. Into the Buster you go. Can't RC. Never mind builds the be here for RC. I was like, can't RC this Buster, but it basically built like what? 30 meter? Shouldn't be surprised at this point. Frame trap, but that was Kitty on a very low health amount. I think it's it was like the 6 heavy into clone, which leaves a gap of, is it 5 frames or 6 frames? I forgot. I think it's 5 frames, right? So very dangerous against 4 framers and trades against the standard 5 framers. Into the Buster we go. Kitty in danger. We do have the full burst, which she is gonna apply here. And then the blood burn. Ooh, the backwards Fukio actually gets stuffed. I blinked and I missed. Didn't see what button that was from Alisa. Didn't quite get that 50 meter in time in order to RC that hammer fall. That option is available here. We're going in with a P tackle instead. Tried to go for the Buster. Kitty reads it. It's gonna pop though. Do we get a safe pop? Well, kind of, sort of. At 0 hit points though. Look at the damage. Boom. from half screen away, or almost even full screen away. That block up 5 heavy does some heavy lifting if your opponent is daring enough to try to press button. Ooh, backdash avoids the meaty Karabasta, Karagaruda. Sorry, the meaty Garuda. Those are the words that I was supposed to say in a row. Bar slash, very important blood return here, as Kitty is nearing the end of the blood bar, especially since she doesn't have the 50th tension yet. And will she even? We are gonna go back to neutral after this one, I reckon. So that will be 100 bar, ready to be used for Kitty. Are seeing the pressure. Yeah, there's another reaction check, but this time from the side of Alisa. That was actually pretty great there. Burning her remaining resources in order to keep Kitty from not tapping into that 100 meter that she had built in the bank. 6B, however, gets tagged by Beyblade. RC to make sure we're plus. Ooh, we're actually gonna pop here. Do we have the buster? No, just in the nick of time, able to get a reversal backdash to get out of there. So that's a lot of damage taken for Kitty, but that is also a fresh blood bar. Good check 2K there on the forward Fukyo. That's exactly what we want to see. Don't want to see those free forward Fukyos. And Nago's resetting into free pressure. Again, the backdash. Kitty's very familiar with the backdashing defensive game. Oh, but this time forward Fukyo with maximum rewards gets the blood-sucking universe and still has 50 meter ready to go. Backwards Fukyo to S, a little bit far. Does frame trap Elisa's button. The 2K 2D into OTG, sliding in there. Any hit is gonna be good. Just waits a couple of frames and then presses 2K. Oh, starting with the classic. We're burning it all. Uh-oh. Danger. We're actually burning out here. Is it a safe pop? Sort of, but sort of not. Here comes Elisa's pressure. Mask goes on. That's hella plus. But not that wild result, though. It's going to be -2 usually. Oh, there we go. 6K into the clone again. However, Alisa has such a good counterplay against that. The throw there from that range. Ooh, that's gonna be minus. The gold burst in the opponent's face. Now Kitty has so many resources. 6 heavy, that's gonna be a kill, right? Another one, and then an extra one on the wall break. Big back and forth with these characters, and the Guilty Gear has always been a resource management meta kind of a fighting game. And it really shows here with these characters. And for Nago, it's not just the going with the classic backwards Fukyo into Beyblade round start, which tends to be basically any button in the game available if they try to swing normals at round start. Oh, we're being sneaky here. This time goes for the throw, but Kitty shimmies out of it. Another throw, another frame kill, and then into Samurai Mix. Dirty stuff. Yeah, Kitty definitely has shades of what we see from top-level Nagoriyukis as well. Alright, throw into the corner. We got the Karagaruda for the maximum best range as well. Prompting a burst from Kitty. Let's see if we can get her back in there, though. RC tries to go for an air-to-air. And another great backdash out of the throw, once again by Kitty. Guaranteeing her a wall break, but this is both players on relatively low stamina. The positive bonus does get Kitty the first bar pretty soon here. Alisa, oh, this will work, absolutely. If you space that Garuda impact perfectly on Oki, it can destroy stuff with its disjoint frames. However, when it's played from very close range like that, it is subject to reversals. Usually DPs, in Nagoriyuki's case, you'll have to keep an eye out for if Nago has 50 meter ready to go for that reversal super. One of the best reversal supers in the game. Really good range and really good rewards. Not just damage, but also the blood drain that happens if you lock the opponent into the animation. Early burst here for Kitty. Backdash slide heads. Tried to go for a hard read on the second one, but didn't quite have the timing there. Ooh, but this super jump actually punishes the slow recovery of Potemkin's moves. Oh, and starting with the DP. If we have the routing, this should be a kill, right? Ooh, makes a little bit of a mistake. That's gonna be a pop. Does Alisa notice? Wait, that is not a pop. That was not a pop. Are you kidding me? That was actually not a pop. How though? There were so many blood-burning moves there. Okay. Kitty doing some nutty math. Also, Alisa throwing the startup of that Beyblade. Absolutely crazy stuff. Took a 2D to punish the... tried to go for, I think it was a reversal 6B, but the 6 heavy as a meaty. Ooh, routes into a pop. This is a good one. This is a good one. Go for the super. No, don't even need it. Don't even risk it. Might miss the input. No reason to. Kitty. That was really cool routing there. I didn't even notice that she was actually gonna pop there in that situation. But having perfect sequencing into the pop, and when you do it in the corner, you can of course, you know, sticky them with buttons like, oh hell, what? With the gold burst, catching Alisa pressing something. And well, now we have resources. Are we spending them? No, no, not this time. Must have been a misinput there on the super. It's kind of like when you're playing a new character, sticking them with normals that have very high recovery can sort of catch you off guard. Ooh, 6B clashing with the DP, but the DP cancelled into the Beyblade. Lots of blood burn, but he's definitely gonna take care of Potemkin's options there, if not cancelled into anything else. The IBFD there, casual one on wake up. Why not? Always good against command grab characters or grappling characters overall. Ooh, okay. Went for a throw there, interesting. And Alisa was ready to break that as well. Another one, can't break that one. That's I think the downside. I'm not actually sure if the normal throw comes out in time to punish the blood-sucking universe. Ooh, the backdash from kick caught. How much damage can we bake out of this one? Drops the combo. That's nasty. // into Kitty's punish. We have the super here. We'll get it out this time. No drops. This will basically give Kitty a fresh blood bar and then some. Because the blood recovery is gonna go past the current amount of blood that you have available at the moment. Well, there's gonna be a burst, right? But Kitty predicts, Kitty knows, it has to be there, it has to happen. So let me just abort this sequence right here, take it, and take the W as well.
Duel 1.
Now, this is a lot of momentum going in for Kitty. So Alisa, sooner or later, we're gonna have to have some sort of momentum breaker here. Kitty bursting out of the corner straight into a counter hit Beyblade, which can be followed up. Basic stuff, but basic stuff hurts on these high damage characters. Again, the backdash. Yeah, the backdash has been the go-to. Unless you know a little bit about Kitty and her sort of habits, with this player, you have to be ready for the backdashes. You have to have counterplay, option selects, or whatever is your go-to way of, you know, calling out backdashes, especially in the corner. You gotta have that. Because Kitty will keep backdashing if you let her do so. And it has been working out so far, so why should she stop? There we go, there's the neutral, or rather the forward jump on the round start. The reversal 6B once again, no good against 6 heavy. Collides with the armor. Kitty is first on the button. Jump K into a nice pickup actually. Usually those kind of buttons are not easy to combo into. Here we go, 6B from Kitty into no cancel. A little too far there, I reckon, for the command grab. And this reversal super should take care of the close slash recovery. Giving Kitty a very needed blood relief here. Needed wire C. Oh, goes for a deflect chill right away. However, Alisa's button was just a little bit too stubby here. With the backwards Fukyo, the standard RPS. Usually you would have to commit, like if you see, oh, but that finds the hit. Ends it with the 2K6 heavy. Kitty with another point. Yeah, usually like from those, there are a lot of places where you can play that Fukyo RPS, but far slash sequence is one of the more common ones. Starting with the DP again. Yeah, making sure that we're not getting baited here. But there's a lot of stuff, a lot of timing, and a lot of decision making going into that RPS from the far slash. We could, of course, go backwards with the Fukyo, but there's like, depending on when you cancel your button, you get to kind of dictate how much you slide backwards and like from what kind of spacing you want to try to frame trap or spacing trap the opponent if they try to sort of call out your potential forward Fukyo. Good interruption there, and there was a combo behind that mash as well. Really good stuff. You always want to have a threat behind your 5-framers in Guilty Gear Strive. Is it close enough? Yes, it is. Sour spot, but we do get pickup afterwards, and it's gonna be enough. This is Kitty on set point. All right, now this time, this is with 6k meaty, and that's forward. Actually, not getting punished this time. Oh, but that was a blood pump. I didn't notice either. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, it might be hard to notice. The heat tackle, oh, sees it coming, has to RC it. And that's a really good round for Alisa. We're gonna need a couple more of those. Moving forward, being patient here, yep. Sees the forward Fukyo, or I think that was a clone Fukyo, actually. Different shield works out, double jump. Making the angle a little bit more difficult to anti-air. Of course, standard anti-air might be a problem in the first place for Nagoriyuki. There was a blood burn. I think he should still be fine here. Yeah, not gonna pop just yet. Trade in Alisa's favor and come here into the iron embrace of Potemkin. We are alive still. It is gonna be a tough road ahead for Kitty is on that 6 points. But the momentum has been broken. And we are, of course, playing a character that can end rounds very fast. So if your opponent gets bumped, oh, interesting. The far slash, the second slash of the series actually was able to come out there in time. Kitty though, with a lot of resources. 6p into DP. With that Fukyo cancel, able to get decent amount of, oh, interesting. What are we playing here? BRC actually ends up spending a lot of Kitty's resources. I'm gonna be dry for quite a while here. Good read on the Buster. Jump out and a punish as well on top of that. Checking with a 5B after the clone Fukyo. Gotta be really careful here. YRC into... Does she notice? There we go, that should be a punish. Into the 5-framer, very good. It was cool that Alisa was able to get a little bit of a punish combo there even before the pop happened. I think got like a 2k 2D knockdown, then straight into the point blank range. Take the blood take the blood pop and then get a punish of your choice. Oh, again Kitty with this gold burst tech, and it ends up working out. No more standing 5Ds though. I think this is gonna whiff, right? Unless you extend yourself in it. Yeah, a jump slash, not gonna do so. Very safe hitbox. We'll try to go for the command grab. Kitty calling it out with a back Fukyo. Pressure goes on. Until, oh, powering through with the armor, and Kitty didn't have the 50 meter there. It's so important to have that if you're swinging into the armor of Mega Fist, because then you can always, oh, here we go. Time to guess. With an overhead, oh, that's gonna be a minus as well, because you connected it after the Gigantor had dissipated as well. And now Kitty has more resources to play with. YRC baits it! Gets ever so closer to wrapping it up. Another set point position for Kitty. Starting with a DP, but Alisa, I think Alisa has really learned her lesson here. Oh, it's so difficult to avoid that close slash with the double jump. You thought it would miss, but then the Naga player goes for it again. Small stick here, going back to neutral. Very nice life lead though. Jump over and the punish as well. This is big. Got the backdash. That's exactly what we need. We need the backdash catchers against Kitty's backdashes. Smash there on the wake up. YRC, give me +10. Give me that airtight 2K. Here comes Kitty with a lot of blood left to burn. The burst probably has to happen. Here comes the hard burst. Sorry, the hard bait. Where's the burst? There is the burst. It's a successful one as well. Half blood available for Kitty. Gets no knocked down from the slide head. Gotta be really careful. No, her armor. The armor does nothing unless you have the health. And Kitty gambling it up. It would have been a really tough situation to survive without that 50 meter to RC on connection with the armor. But in a situation where Potemkin cannot tank the damage anymore, that was actually a great decision for Kitty. In that, like, when you get into that position as Potemkin where you can't no longer go through a lot of stuff, utilizing your life or like the fact that you don't really care if you take a little bit of life, yeah, that's when it gets really tough. But a good attempt to fight it back there. Of course, tough opponent from higher skill brackets. Even if you have those like high-level players taking up on a new challenge, picking up a new character, it's always tough because they are always bringing their fundamentals into the mix as well. So really, really great for Alisa for fighting back as much as she could. There was a lot of really cool tech. Some of those Karabusters out of nowhere. Really cool stuff. Now, I think we're rolling back to the slot number 1. I think Scarecrow should be available, right? So let's ping Whale and Scarecrow. So two rather rare kind of characters here. We've got, of course, Zato, who is basically an endangered species at this moment. Pretty much like everywhere on the globe. But we do have a couple of really dedicated players who are not ready to let the character go. At the same time, not really that kind of, not like as dire of a situation for Faust players, but Faust players also, there are quite a lot of Faust players though. Faust is that kind of a, like, I think Faust is one of the most, how should we put it? One of the most beloved mid-tiers of the game. A very interesting character, the item throw mechanic, of course, since the beginning of Guilty Gear franchise has been a very, very interesting one. And this is a very decently high skill level match as well. We were, of course, advertising that Mox versus Sid match at the end of our roster, but this would be the other one that could very well be the main event of the evening. So keep your eyes peeled as Scarecrow finds a big hit here. Gets the super as well on the wall break. Was able to inhale, I think there was a drum bit just before the super wall break. So that is one option available potentially if you want to go for it. But now we are gonna go for pressure. Was probably hoping for the positive bonus to build the RC there. So we could RC for more mix-ups after the mix. Very long flight over the opponent's head. Now this could be one and done here. We got the opponent in the mix with DJ Eddie. 100 meter, we're gonna have to stall for time here. Checking what Scarecrow wants to do. Oh, it's a home run! It's so easy to forget because Faust certainly did not spawn into the vanilla version with that tool available. And it was like not just, you know, the presence of mind that could happen, but keeping an eye on if the item that the Faust player threw at the other side of the screen, is that an aggressive one? Is that something that has a hitbox? Speaking of hitboxes, the hammer, one of the best ones. Ooh, knocking off the hammer. Ooh, what happened there? With the back throw, we're back into the mix-up position. Unsummon, break it without a super. I wonder if there was a misinput there. But either way, Well is going to go into the next screen with a lot of resources to spend. Not just the meter, but also the puppet gauge. Ooh, did we get the mix? The bombo into the combo! Oh, another one! And it's a wall break! That's almost the kill. That was great presence of mind for Scarecrow. I think I would have attempted that kill as well. Of course, with the low damage available for Faust, you can never know if it's going to kill or not, but I think understanding that the opponent's character is also a zero guts character, so they're gonna take maximum damage basically every point of the match. It was a really great idea to try to go for the big kill. Still get the kill there at the end. Oh, interesting. So going for the drunkard shade here, trying to reflect projectiles, but there was quite a few projectiles to reflect. Is the bomb still there? I don't think so. Okay. He's getting a clean wall break here with Sun Void. And this should probably be checkmate unless Scarecrow can find a... Well, that's a lot of resources burned. But now even after that, even if you got well off of you for a moment, this is a huge life disadvantage to try to fight through. Of course, the tension is of course something that you wanna burn in order to try to get yourself still a chance to play that round. But the deflect shield is the more dangerous proposition. Ooh, what's happening here with the connection? Ah, unfortunate. Yeah, this is a decently far away connection as well. Egypt to Italy. So there is potential of some connection hiccups, but hope that doesn't prevent us from, you know, finishing the match ultimately. Asking the players if everything is going okay. We still have both players in the room, so that's always good. I think Well is gonna try to rejoin in order to hopefully make hopefully appease the connection gods. But yeah, man, that conversion there from Scarecrow in the first game, that's gonna forever remain in my head, isn't it? At least at least for the duration of this event, damn. But it's always the Faust players who make the fanciest plays. I wonder if it's like, because is it hype because it's such a small chance of happening, like comboing into some good items, such as like the in the heat of the moment combo decision there to combo into the bomb, and then I think there was another bomb as well. I'm not sure if it got triggered in the end by the other bomb, but there was definitely a lot that happened there. One of the coolest conversions I've seen in a while in Bounty Hunters. I should make a note of myself and clip that later after this event. Ooh, that was spicy. Okay, but from, I believe from 1-0 situation, we resume and immediately into Well's pressure. Let me flip the names around as well. So we got Well on the left this time. Breaking with the Sun Void, the optimal play, as long as the opponent is not ready to go down yet. Ooh, finds the hit, and another Sun Void here from the 6 heavy. Yeah, that's definitely a Zato round. Even though we are talking about a character who's, ooh, okay, into the command grab, installing the Afro. Let's see how you deal with this safe jump setup. The Afro has been lit, eventually it's gonna explode, and if you're not blocking at that very moment, then that means a free combo. Swallows a hammer, that's surely gonna be a good option to unleash. If we get an opportunity. Oh, look at the flight though! Choosing the angle that completely counters the hammer. And because the deflect shield was used, there's probably not gonna be, oh, bait on the YRC as well. Well is going in really hard, tap the 5D. Is that a kill? No. Going into the unsummon combo, maintaining the corner. That was such a great sequencing from Well. Knew that if you're gonna break the wall, then it's gonna be a soft knockdown. We're gonna go into the next screen against a very strong neutral character without any resources. So we kind of reset there, let the opponent fall out, unsummon, return your Eddy Gauge, and then mix up again. Extremely important for some of these mix-up oriented or set play oriented characters that are not necessarily the best at playing neutral. Alright, got the Froggy there. YRC. Oh, in the end, the summoning a hammer, able to knock down Eddy there momentarily. Luckily though for Well, the new system mechanics where if Eddy gets knocked down at a very high amount of gauge still left, it's gonna come back fast as well. Able to block during the flight, the explosion of the Afro. Drilling with a jump 2K, missing the combo still into a close slash. That's even better, I reckon. Never stop going, even if you drop your combo. That is the high-level player rule. Froggy goes online before the fishing pole does. Can we get a wall break here? Yes, indeed. Gonna be very low on that eddy gauge on the stage shift, though. Nice, using the invite help, one of the go-to classic ways of stalling for time. Basically sealing off the ground level. YRC, but the explosion is still gonna happening in the air as well. So there was a lot of minus frames there for Well. Burst has been used by both players. Back to a neutral situation. The little puppet gets there in time once again, just before the big full screen reaching moves can go online. Straight into the bomb. Good on Well. Oh, the cancel into the 2S. And the meteor's coming as well. There's so much junk that Well has to take into account. Oh, there was a bomb! There was still one more bomb working as an anti-air. That's why, I think, that's why Scarecrow didn't even bother trying to anti-air from that high angle. Because he knew that that bomb was gonna do the job. And I'm not sure if Well was actually able to see it being thrown, or if it was just a mystery item happening off screen. Summoning into a pose. It's a very, very expensive kind of sequence there. Oh, the Pro is gonna explode as well. Into, yeah, if we want to still play this round, we're gonna have to use the burst here. And look at the spacing, the 2S. Just a couple of pixels too far away for the YRC to actually get there. Initially, it was looking like a hero burst. But make no mistake, there are a lot of very explosive characters. I mean, every character in Guilty Gear Strive is very explosive. So if you get your pressure back, especially on these offensive-oriented characters, you can potentially try to go and make the reversal happen. Or the comeback, rather. Yes, leaves the trumpet behind this time. The position is much more important to keep. Oh, this is a big one. Able to stall time with the command grab. Look at that. The whole eddy gauge coming back. And back in the mix-up situation. Deflect shield does kind of something, but Will is back in there. Resetting with the Sun Void. Succumbing to the 20-frame reaction check. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin. Well, showing why this one character, Zato, is probably one of the most offensively oriented character in the game. Really all or nothing. Everything is on attack power in classic RPG game terms. Are trying to snipe here. I think Scarecrow will be able to block though. What about the bomb? We just leave the bomb behind. And cool guys, never look at the explosions. A little bit of a drop on the combo, or maybe that's just where the combo ends. Unsure. With 6P, looking for one more hit. Getting hit by the fishing pole is kind of okay out of backdash because there's no follow-up from the Faust side. Ooh, trying to go for an angle, but Scarecrow, the jump, is it jump slash or jump heavy, just barely missing for Well. And we go for the classic overhead again. Makes it to 2-2. Ooh, it's getting interesting here. It's getting really interesting. Now, if only... Okay, good. Still not out of the woods yet. Are we good? I think based on the Discord side chatter, this is probably a disconnection again. But at least it happened on a non-critical moment, or in a non-critical situation. Rather between the games than during the games. There is always the option to try to have one of the players host the room as well. That sometimes does things, or might not do things. It's one of the old tricks that we sometimes utilize. But I think this is probably just straight up like connection side issues. Disconnecting between different continents after all. But hopefully, after all these great plays, there is nothing that I dread more than not be able to see this all the way to the very end. We've seen the teasers, we've seen the intros, we've seen the trailers of Well versus Scarecrow, and what could happen in the next potential... How many games? Both players need 5 games, so this could be like decent 9 games still. We're starting with the instant air dash, misses the command grab. There was no punish either. I mean, you could argue that getting interesting, going for the 6K, which is I think is the slower overhead option, but still an available option. There are some benefits to having an overhead that lands a little bit slower and looks a little bit more janky, especially if your opponent does something like fuzzy blocking stuff. Wall slash, are we going to be able to utilize that bomb? Just backs off, lets it explode, lets the wall slump happen. And surely that's going to be a kill. This time, Well definitely can't justify going for the hero burst. Every star is basically aligning in the favor of Scarecrow in that one. Once again, Deflect Shield is one of the best go-to tools that Scarecrow has been utilizing in this matchup defensively. It's double-edged sword in the way that it does push away the main body, but I think it does not affect the puppet at all. So I think it requires a lot of knowledge of how Zato's block strings work. Or you could use it when the puppet is actually gone. That works too. Oh, the 5P doesn't actually reach. I think because the Eddie was morphed into a shield that time. So they're just absorbing all the hits, waiting for the main body to come in and poke you. Ooh, nice snipe on the frog there. That was from the other side as well. Sent the Eddie to the other side and then leapfrogged from the backside. The bomb is a problem here potentially. We'll be able to block it. I think that was the bomb connected with Scarecrow as well, so it was a neutral situation. Big reset here, time to summon, time to mix it up. Yep, the puppet does not get pushed back at all. But technically, this is not the hugest loss for Scarecrow. Trying to attack them from the air. Ooh, committed to a button, in fact, because the Amorphous is kind of slow to manifest there. And even if you get hit, as long as the Amorphous startup has been able to start, it will come out every single time. I think at this point, should we try the Dark Voodoo trick of making one of the players host this room? Maybe it would help. Because yeah, sometimes routing through like a third party that lives even further. Like the problem easily could be here that we're trying to like route through Finland or something, and that's not a great proposition for Egypt. So yeah, I think we're gonna try that little fix and see if hosting the room for one of these players would do the trick. Because it's a really huge heartbreaker having to come back to the room, or not just having to come back to the room, which already wastes a lot of time and puts the match on ice in a way.
Network.
Alright, here's the hoping this is gonna work out.
Welcome.
We can also do a quick room review here. Wait, is that a horse? Is that an Uma Musume reference? The newly released on Steam Gacha Horse Girl game? I ain't playing that though. I might crack at some point. Hopefully not though. There's a lot of junk here. Damn, that's a very busy room. Okay, back into it. Well, up one game, 3-2 situation. In a match that already within like 5 games has had so many ups and downs. The momentum bouncing back and forth. Oh, is it not good? Okay. Started with a jump 2K and into a big conversion as well, straight into the corner. Oh, throwing a pretty good item. And another one, all of those items that actually prevent your opponent from doing anything. And another one, third one in a row. It's kind of nasty when you're trying to like just get your turn back, especially when you're pressured in the corner and the Faust just keeps throwing you the momentum breaker item. Got the cross up there with the meteors as well, and a little Kai on top of it. This is nasty. You're bound to trigger that little guy at some point. You might have even comboed well into it. Yes, indeed. That was all sorts of bad luck trapped into one game. But here could be a complete opposite. Well, finding the hit. Not quite getting an opportunity to get the unsummon there. Going for the max level, or rather max damage conversion. 60% of the opponent's life. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it's still active! So the Sun Void gets completely nullified. That was a good idea, using Sun Void as a move that sort of stalls your momentum in the air so that you wouldn't fall into the bomb. But ultimately, that ended up wasting 50 meter. Now, this 50 meter though, definitely not wasted. Into the empty 2K. Banana Peel, not the best option. The deflect shield also not hitting. But the 2K mash, of course, when you're so close to knockdowning your opponent. A 5-framer is gonna look that much appealing to you. Yeah, once again, Little Eddie not affected by the deflect shield, although it does break your pace and break your momentum with like when you're trying to work with your puppet. Because it's usually one after another. Usually main body hits, puppet hits, main body hits, puppet hits has been the usual sort of rhythm of Zato. Wow, just throwing them out of there. Picking up the horn as well. Not quite getting to utilize it. We could go for straight. Yeah, I was about to say Amorphous might be on the menu. But this time Scarecrow playing it a little more safe and not committing into the round star jump button. Missing the combo, however missing the punish as well. Scarecrow with a full burst. This is tough for Well. Deflect shield completely whiffs, at least not getting punished. Stands up for the 5P. Oh, but the 2P! The 2P RC did not come out as RC, PRC instead. The idea was the combo. Because like, Faust can't easily combo 2P into anything without the puppet. That's slightly unfortunate. Is that because of that? That's not because of range. That's because of timing, I reckon. So the RC was just queued up a little bit too slow, I think. I started with the summon, get tagged by the low. Was able to get the unsummon there just before the burst happened. Good stuff. That basically means that Well started after the burst with full Eddie gauge. Again, the hammers, the best item as they say, as the Faust pros have been exclaiming. And who am I to call any different? Because it's such a huge amount of time that the opponent just can't do anything as the hammer is just bouncing ahead of you or before you. A little bit of 2P to activate the little guy. Jump over. Ooh, that was almost jumping over the honker. But the big combo off of that. Once again, the round start TK, jump 2K. Drilling through the round start, the low round start options of Well. Skating past the bomb. That looked so close. I think it was not too close, but it kind of just looked like it. In the big command grab, and now it's time to get mixed. Get back in there with the use of Jump D. Reset the gauge with the use of your 50 meter as well. Sunboard into more mix-ups. Too bad the wall ends up breaking at not an opportune moment. Round start with the 6 heavy. One more hit. Any hit is gonna be good. But also, on a Zero Guts character, any hit, any big hit from Zato could be good as well. We're mashing that 5P once again. I would too. I would too. Especially from that, you know, that aerial situation. A lot of those, like, cancels such as like jump 2K into maybe bomb back, or like a lot of those kind of situations do have some amount of gap to mash through against Zato. 6K is blocked, overhead cleared. Oh, and Afro lit on fire, explosion immediately, misses, but the PRC covers. Oh, I think Well will have to hold this though. That was a hammer coming out. Takes it with the noggin. Ooh, no fear there. Back throw into the corner and even picks up the trumpet. I think that's gonna be a kill. Sunvoid, Amorphous, no matter which one you use. Well, still maintaining her lead here.
Duel 1.
Right, it does. It kind of looks like the connection is a little bit more stable with these hosts. Yeah, it's so weird that it works that way. But anyway, we'll jump, make it a 6 heavy with Wild Assault into a command grab. That's gonna waste a lot of colossal amount of time in Well's favor. Resetting to another one. That's kind of tricky, having your first mix-up be a command grab, because you would think like, all right, if you have a lot of eddy gauge to work with, then we're gonna play something else that still leads into more eddy actions. The 6P is not gonna hit the bomb. Using the flight so that the bomb is gonna be neutralized and able to avoid the hammer as well. Another hammer on the horizon, so Will has no choice but to back off a little. Snipe from a really nice angle. Able to get hard knocked out with the Wild Assault. But again, a really nice flight out of the corner. And we can summon. One overhead cleared, 2 overheads cleared, and into a 5 PP mash. That's not gonna be enough though. Here comes Morphous. You have no choice but to take the hit, yeah, on the landing. I think that was a punish, right? Yeah, punish text on the left there for Well. Ooh, that's a great opportunity to take out the little guy after the opponent whiffs the 6 heavy. Right, half of your life gone. Tried to go for the command grab, and it would have worked as well. Scarecrow was respecting there. But the range didn't quite work out for Well. We go into the white gauge of Eddie, meaning Gauge is gonna return back really soon-ish. Deflection, oh, that might be a punish. Is it? Yeah, that is actually a true punish. That's very reminiscent of, you know, Asuka players doing something like deflect shield into straight particle sphere. And it makes sense because both of those supers are very similar in that they start up very fast, and after they start up, they cannot be stopped. So you potentially might trade with them, but the trade is usually going to be in your favor. All right, from a 3-3 situation, Well, with some crazy ass plays, able to gain a little bit of a lead here. At a very strategically important moment as well, because now Well is nearing that 7 points, whereas Scarecrow is still hanging around the early, sort of the early end of the scale, with only 3 points. I'm gonna do another rejoin again. There is like a little bit of urgency, I feel, for Zato to engage, because there have been rounds where Scarecrow just starts throwing really good combination of items. Especially if you lose real estate at round start. So if you take like a step back as Zato and Faust sort of intercepts you, you lose probably like 1/4 of all of your real estate. If Faust in that position starts throwing something like hammers or the 100-ton hammer, 100-ton weights or whatever they're called, you're not getting out of that corner very easily, are you? And a lot of those items have very high angle as well, so they have an opportunity to tag you if you try to go into flight willy-nilly. And then on the other hand, if you get items such as like meteors or the little guy, then suddenly your ability to summon into Eddie has been sealed for like X amount of seconds. Because like if anything triggers little guy and you have Eddie available, it's kind of like, what do? I'm not sure if you can even oppose that. I guess you can, but it's just so expensive. That's like a losing proposition. And then with the meteors, you can't really stop them unless you somehow manage to dodge the tracking. But I guess that's not the easiest thing to do either for like a relatively like... Zato is not the most mobile character, is he? Like you have some burst movement options such as like from flight you could do like jump D, which moves you forward really fast, but even still, you would much rather get the opponent in your block string, work in tandem with your little guy, and not have to worry about the RNG factor, like what item is gonna manifest next. Oh, this time the game crashed. Damn, there's a lot of bad luck happening with this matchup today, but we're slowly getting there. Potential reach kind of situation soon here for a while, unless Scarecrow can manage to wrangle some forbidden beasts here very quick like. This is of course a good opportunity to kill the momentum. So after Well comes back into the lobby, it's been a couple of minutes, and in that time both players have had a lot of time to reset. So I think in that sort of way, momentum is not gonna matter as much unless you think about the numbers. If you start thinking about things like, oh shit, I'm down 2 games, then of course that might affect you negatively if you worry about that sort of things too much. But yeah, back into it we go from a well leading position. That's not quite a whale there in the tank. That's a shark on the left, right? Oh yeah, I think Scarecrow said that they were gonna take a really quick break while Well is joining back. So I have to wait a couple more frames, couple more minutes potentially. But yeah, Faust does seem to have quite a lot of different ways and quite a lot of different angles to try to snipe the little guy. So like summoning at neutral into the little guy doesn't seem like the best proposition. There is always the problem of... So you would always prefer to try to tag them first and then summon from a position where they can't do much about it. just like as Happy Chaos, you would much rather connect like a strong normal, such as like 2S on the opponent, put the opponent in block stun, and then take a guaranteed gunshot them for the mix-ups. Basically same kind of principle here with Zato. You would much rather be in a position where the opponent can't have any sort of snipes on your little buddy. But then you would have to, like, if you want to get there, you have to get there as your main buddy without the little guy's support, right? But then if you summon at neutral and get that support, then you're using a lot of your resources. And if you ever get there, then you might have actually spent most of your Eddie gauge already. And when you get there, you won't be able to do much. It is the great dichotomy, or the great... Oh, missing the bomb! Ooh. Able to bounce it far enough for Will to actually dodge it. Got a little hot potato once again on the field. 5 PP. Take the opponent out of the ground. There we go. There's the jab into RC, the classic conversion that we see a lot for Zatos. Because this is not a character that, oh, nice bait there, was holding back long enough. Ooh, nice bluff, taking out the little guy with the unsummon as well, while the opponent is concentrating on the mix-up that they potentially have to block. Yep, committing into it this time. So there's a huge difference between when you have the reach in terms of having the opponent on their last pixels, or if the opponent has a lot of life left. In those situations where they're still healthy, you probably want to try to like reset into an unsummon if you can. But if they are at 0 health, then sometimes it's kind of like do it or die, fuck the little guy kind of situation. Just go in, spend all of your resources and try to get the hit as the main buddy. I guess the summon maintains the oppose. Might as well, because the opponent is again so low health, and well, has been able to do a huge momentum shift. 3 games up here. Potentially ready to end the set here, unless Scarecrow can do something. Starting with a Pierce once again, followed up by a lot of unsummons. It's very tricky. The way that Will has been summoning into that Pierce has been able to counter poke quite a lot of different normals from Scarecrow. Using the threat of the impending explosion of the Afro. Able to get another throw there. Nice knife there with a jump heavy, taking Will out of the sky, and then in turn using the sky to your own advantage. 1 more to go. Light the fire, light the Afro on fire. And if that's not gonna kill, there is a little bit of an insurance in terms of the Afro exploding in a couple of seconds. But again, yo, the banana peel. We are #1 moment. The meteors as well. This is what I was talking about. The stream of great items that can happen if you let Zato players, or sorry, Faust players rest even a moment. Great bar slash, and we have the meter to burn here as well. This shouldn't be a kill, right? Super. That should kill Zero Guts characters. Maybe it does not kill a Potemkin, but surely it kills a Zato, right? Slash. Scarecrow still in this to win this potentially. 4-6. This dimension once again looks a little bit more happier for Faust fans. But the frame trap into didn't have too much little AD gauge back in the tank. The momentum breaker from the little guy, that's what I was talking about. If you get one of those great momentum breaker items that activate on a delay, that just prevents Zato from taking out the little buddy for a little while. Again, YRC has to respect the little guy and the weight as well. Ooh, that was a great follow-up. Despite giving the horn to Well, was able to keep up the combo and just completely avoid the little horde of incoming little Fausts. However, Well, able to flip it around. 1 more set point. Ooh, this time both players passing it over each other, but what is that air normal? Is that jump slash? I think it's jump slash, right? Or jump heavy? I always forget what jump slash and jump heavy look like for Zato. trying into plus range with that YRC. Won't be able to get into a safe pressure distance. Getting thrown into the corner. Getting out would be really nice before the Afro comes. Was able to get a straight jab there. Oh, this is big. Now the Afro suddenly does not matter at all. And in fact, nothing matters anymore after that hit because Well has a killing combo here. A small moment of hesitation as Scarecrow puts another point on the board. But Well is like, it is 6. It is 6. And that fact won't change. Able to close it out 7-4 in a really, really fancy, flashy matchup of all sorts of character-specific stuff. That combo from Scarecrow though, oh, was it in the first game or the second game? That's like one of the best combos I've literally ever seen in Guilty Gear Strive. That was definitely something. All right, let's queue up this card while we move back to our own lobby. Glad we got that done in the end. So booting up the SPEC versus Scarlet matchup next. Very interesting dichotomy between these two characters. Very different game plans. Very traditional grappler, character that just can't do anything from far away. I mean, I guess Potemkin can do a little bit in Guilty Gear Strive. But definitely outmatched when it comes to doing stuff at far range neutral. And let's get Scarlet here as well. Jump heavy is the guillotine looking one? Yeah, that's the one. What button is jump slash then? So the jump K I know, jump B I know, it's the kind of pierce looking thing. Jump slash. Jump D is the one that moves in burst. The little boing slam. What is jump slash? Well, anyway. Scarlet, how many games has Scarlet played on Bounty Hunters already? It's only one, right? Yeah, it's only the debut match that was against Gusto's Faust. Very different kind of matchup this time around, completely different momentum. Much more keep away oriented, but how much can you keep away this big guy in this game, Guilty Gear Strive, where admittedly zoning characters are not that favored as far as meta goes. But luckily, Guilty Gear zoning-oriented characters are always, you know, Guilty Gear character is always a Guilty Gear character. And a Guilty Gear character will always be able to sort of transition from the zoning into really scary pressure. And same goes for Testament as well. If you can get to a loop staying in the corner, kind of forces the opponent to sooner or later try to gamble with something, be it with a 6B, try to go under Vart Slash, which is usually like one of the most common linkers between the curses and the crows, or just trying to reversal out of it with your nice prediction there on the Buster. And using the Wild Assault in order to buy a little bit of real estate as well. Here we go. This is where it starts. The stain loop. The curse into a pop. Reset. Set the other one. Oh, nice read there. The super jump there as the crow was coming in. Misses with the Wild Assault though. It's funny how little damage Scarlet was able to actually do there. Was holding Swag Potemkin in the corner for a good like 20 seconds, yet I mean, I guess you didn't score that many hits there either, so there was only like barely 30 or 40% life missing on Swag's health gauge. Ooh, went for a hard bait on the burst, I think 2 times in a row. Oh, there we go. And the new feature, that throw will indeed be able to pop stain here in the modern patches for Testament, which is a nice new upgrade. Because a lot of the time when it couldn't... Ooh, good flick here. Able to boost Scarlet into the corner. We have 50 meter. There it goes. We can definitely interrupt that Wild Assault. And SPEC has already used that Wild Assault quite a bit, so there were quite a lot of grounds for... Oh, nice. Got them with the 2 heavy, trying to backdash. Very slow, but very active move as well. I got them with the forward Mega Fist in the air. So that means he has some nice access to corner pressure. Tried to tap with the 5D. However, getting interrupted with that 6-frame 2K from Testament. Ooh, the Air Reaper was not able to maintain the air momentum long enough. Falls straight into the hammer of the Slight Head punish. Missed with the close slash, or was that a frame kill? Nobody knows. Far slash on the backdash, not the greatest hit, but this will definitely give a semi-guaranteed curse and start the curse loop as well. Wall break is available, but that doesn't kill Potemkin, right? Still, not a bad situation to be for Scarlet. Yeah, disengage from the situation and throw those full-screen fireballs. This is kind of what you have to have. You have to have some sort of a game plan which bobs and weaves, and often more often than not, tries to stay away from Potemkin's active range. Ooh, no punish there. Not coming down with a button. Getting the curse, getting decent. Okay, so we're cashing out instead. In these full screen situations where you get a curse pop, you often get to decide if you want to cash out and do like maximum amount of arbiter signs to do maximum amount of damage available, or if you want to try to set up a new curse instead and sacrifice a little bit of damage. But here comes Swag, finds the low, 5k, tap him, and that should be the kill. Lots of burst available for Scarlet here. Let's see if we indeed are gonna use any of that to defend. Oh, interesting, was able to block after that missed 2k. Went for the throw. Swag is not quite ready to succumb to that yet. Back and forth, both players looking for the decisive hit here. Once again, Swag going for the hard burst bait. Scarlet smartly holding though. That's not a very easy hold to make either, because Scarlet is down around here. That combo might have actually threatened Scarlet's life. As does this one. Ooh, the Wild Assault. Was that a completely raw Wild Assault? 5 PP here, using the 5-framer. Able to interrupt and make the curse dissipate as well. No OTG, but we dash into the tap 5D, and Scarlet makes a really nutty looking comeback here. Ooh, frame trap into the Wild Assault. No combo though. Maybe was basically betting on the Wild Assault landing as a blocked hit. Cashing up here. Ooh, missing the combo. There have been quite a lot of combo drops here and there for Swag. Let's see if that ends up mattering. Got a back Mega Fist. I think slightly minus there, even though it is a Mega Fist. Into the Buster, and that should be the seal, or rather the nail on the coffin. The sealer of the deals. Yeah, that's definitely what I was about to articulate. The sealer of the deals is the Potemkin Buster. Evening it out 1 point each. Starting with a 5k. Yeah, it's a pretty good proposition against Potemkin to try to, instead of swinging with your slow ass buttons that can reach far away, swing with your fast buttons instead, so that you can maybe survive against Karabuster. Started with a far slash this time around from Wild Assault. Maybe looking for a curse here, but the oh, you gonna drift? Oh, it's actually a punish still! I was like, can Potemkin actually punish Testament from that range, going for that Calamity 1 from like almost half screen away, and as an air hit as well. Great 6p, knock them down, mix them up. very delayed sleight head, powering through the 2K with the armor. It's very interesting as they did implement some extra instances of armor there on the hammerfall break, especially when, like, after you break, there is still a little bit of lingering armor there that happens after the break, I believe. So the timing RPS there is extremely precise if you want to try to interrupt Potemkin. Ooh, that was a great trade for Dr. Swag. Able to dissipate the curse, but now still has to survive the onslaught of waits out the deflect shield. That was interesting RPS read. Oh, but that actually makes a lot of sense, because like if you're in that -10 situation, the deflect shield is kind of like the only thing you could do, right? But wait, can you even input it while you're guard crushed from YRC? I'm not actually sure. Guilty Gear mechanics, plentiful and always eluding the not so smart of the smartest of us, such as QK. Ooh, that was a great response there. Touch the armor, and because Scarlet didn't quite have the 50-meter ready for the Red Roman Cancel explosion to take out the armor, used the Wild Assault instead to produce as fast as possible second hit in order to break Swag out of the armor. Ooh, hammerfall break from that blue Wild Assault. I believe it's still quite plus. Slight hit once again. Time to mix it up. Close slash, staggering it up. Are you gonna make a decision here? Resetting into Garuda Impact, which is always a tough situation to deal with. Trying to go for a backdash throw. However, Potemkin is too far still. Calamity 1 certainly gets you out of here. Try to go for big commit going into the throw again. Framed up into 2S. We're gonna get the curse here. Ooh, nice! Instead of going for the curse, going for the possession play instead. That pops. No! We didn't get this super. That was definitely a Nostrovia ride. Oh, the gold burst actually beats the reversal super. Are you kidding me? Still not getting into an optimal position to pressure afterwards. So the zoning of Testament takes care of that round. Ooh, big counter hit. No follow-up though. Is there a combo out of a big counter hit flick in the corner? Oh, there's definitely a follow-up from that one. However, once again, Swag. Oh, there we go. First clean read, and I think it should kill Testament, right? Yeah, OTG 2K is gonna be enough. Swag has been revving up that last-minute burst bait so many games now, and finally able to reap the benefits, or rather get the right read at the right moment. I mean, realistically, you can't, like, unless your opponent just 100% hard baits every single time, you can't really feasibly not burst in all of those situations. Ooh, that was so cute. Using the jump K that has a cross-up hitbox there on the drive-by possession into a sneaky little throw. Forcing a curse. YRC though, able to break the sequence. Ooh, teleporting into that 6P straight up, and Swag once again in the mixing position. Left, right, strike throws. Nice backdash out of there. So now, ooh, that's gonna be a punish, very nice! With one of the best instant air dashes and some of the best buttons to combine with that instant air dash as well. You wouldn't think that Testament wants to instant air dash in very often, but that is exactly the kind of reaction punish that you can make against Potemkin. If slight head, if you're waiting for it, if you're reacting to it, then instant air dash surely gonna get you the punish. Got the curse, ooh, was really sneaky there. So Crow is, if I recall correctly, +2. So if you keep it tight with a relevant button, will prevent the opponent from trying to press anything. All right, here's a great equalizer. Tapping him with the 5B, maybe waiting for the burst. Burst will still potentially become relevant here, especially since, oh, never mind, forcing the stage shift there with the use of Heat Knuckle. I mean, Testament is one of those characters who is also like rather low on guts. This time, instead of cashing out on the maximum damage, chooses to improve the position after that curse knockdown. Big hit coming in. Guessing for one more. Ooh, waiting for the burst once again. Scarlet is so patient and still holding on to it. In this position, probably a better bet would be to use Wild Assault instead. I mean, Deflect Shell is also an option, in a way. Plus frames. Ooh, got the frame trap there. Is a gap between that 2K and 2D. For better or worse. Ooh, that should be a kill. Nostrovia taking care of it. Nice comeback once again. That was with very, very low amount of health that Scarlet had there. From that hard bait burst position as well. That's gotta make you feel some sort of ways when you've committed into such a massive burst bait. The opponent just doesn't take it and then just comes back and kills you after that. Makes you think like, what if I just don't burst bait? What if I just take the burst, right? And just do as much damage as possible. That is also one school of thinking in fighting games where you have that burst momentum break mechanic. Right, Nostrovia is gonna apply the curse here on, or rather after the stage shift. So this is one of the best situations you can be as Testament. Oh, I think I see something. However, that was the startup frame. I think the startup frame was 6K from Potemkin. So that means that you could still FD cancel in time. But little it did for the ultimate result of this round, though. That's always so cool to see when people remember that FD cancel is a thing in Guilty Gear Strive. So especially post-flash, post-super flash. If it looks like you press the button and the opponent unleashed their reversal, might as well try to FD as a last-ditch effort. Okay, going for the checkmate here. Oh, the succubus marker is RPS, however. Teleporting in place with that possession. The ping pong combo finds a hit here. It was a hard sell. Scarlet was thinking about it, but didn't seem like SPEC committed to a huge advancement past the succubus marker. So couldn't really go for a safe escape there. Ooh, this is a big punish here because the save was applied. Even a button like 2K goes into some pretty decent damage and decent corner carry as well. There's the big frame trap into the flick again. No follow-up. Ooh, hello? This time goes for the burst bait. Yep, the trademark burst bait that SPEC has basically played on every single round when it's applicable. Ooh, that was so cute. The drive-by grow, utilizing with the FRC and the possession as well. Nice escape from the corner, making sure that we are in pressure position. Can get a semi-guaranteed curse here. Goes for the mix-up instead, and it doesn't end up working out. Takes a huge risk instead of trying to get the curse here. This is the name of the game against these tough characters who are so strong at close range distance, and especially it's kind of like it's a proposition between risk reward. Do you want to go into your own like strong mix-up position, but at the same time risk them being able to play? These are the kind of things that you always sort of ask on characters like Testament. Alright, possession for momentum. Can still get a 6P and a... Ooh, drop there on the 5K though. The backdash out of 5D. Tap. SPEC forcing their way in. Bulldogging, as Potemkin players arguably should. The neutral crow, not eligible for a flick there. Yo, what was that? The momentum, was that like some sort of an FRC momentum trick into a cross-up jump K and then a tick buster? What? I don't think I've seen ever, I don't think I've ever seen that before, have I? Great flick from SPEC once again. Armor takes care. Ooh, that's gonna be a big punish. Glow slash airborne. Misses the combo though. Still maintains position. This is the most important thing. Don't let Potemkin out of the corner. 50 meter is available for SPEC. Uses it on YRC instead of the reversal super. Again, steals the corner. I like this. Even though you potentially sacrifice some of your Oki power, and potentially allow the opponent to escape if they sort of guess what you're doing. Still puts you in a really nice position here. Arbiter side. Oh, I like that. Although, usually you see that as a last touch gambit. Teleport into OTG. Fireball is enough. Okay, okay. I like that. Nice, into a plus frame situation after that Hammerfall break. Gets a 2k 2D, but now Sweg with the mix-up, the close slash does not quite reach long enough. Those are kind of difficult situations when you're trying to catch the opponent, trying to struggle against your busters, and then you get a super unclean hit like that. But still, it does give you corner carry. Even if you get like a stray close slash into nothing, it still knocks your opponent really, really far back, right? Ooh, great anti-air. Nice 3-hit piece here. Frame trap into this time, able to finish the combo as well. Chooses to take the soft knockdown here. I'm not sure if Gigantor would have or if Gigantor would have had a fast enough start up there. So many resources on Swag. This is kind of tough. Scarlet once again in a position where she has to play perfectly, making sure that we are outside of the heavily Potemkin Buster range, but it cost so much. Cost a lot of those resources that were potentially planned to be used on the comeback. Starting with a 6-speed, too slow. Got a Buster, gets there in time, and powers through with the armor. Another one for good measure. Looking for potentially third. Trade. Ooh, the DLC 2K is very strong on Testament side. We could teleport. No, we're running right at it. And Swag wakes up with a Buster. That is definitely a gambit. That is your 5-framer, all right. And it definitely paid off because, like, I guess because of the position, because Scarlet was back against the corner and probably wanted to try to convert that YRZ into some amount of real estate. And if you just connect something like 2K2D into Fireball, that's not the most dangerous thing ever from Testament, and it doesn't get you a lot of real estate either. All right, Swag on a set point position here with a lot of momentum. Ooh, was thinking about it, but went with the neutral possession instead of aiming into the marker. A good place for Scarlet. Ooh, but the armor frames. I missed it. I missed if Scarlet actually had that RC available there. Oh, this could be the end. We have the burst. Goes for the FRC to force break the wall before there is any sort of chance to get the burst out. Straight forward. Far slash not fast enough to catch Swag jumping. Ooh, what was that? That was the FRC was supposed to be something else, I reckon. The burst is blocked in the air, and that's gonna be it. Swag, I think, got grand total of 2 burst baits at the very end of the rounds, but they were decently relevant baits as well. I mean, if we try to value or like sort of weigh between the value that Swag lost with the hard baits that didn't yield any fruit and the ones that worked out, I mean, it is a trade-off for sure. I'm not sure which end of the scale is weighing more heavily, but it does end up working out for Swag in a matchup that we definitely predicted to be quite a, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? When there's like so many huge differences between two characters. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I'm gonna mute. The allergies are acting up. Ah, the sneeze never came. What a tease. Okay, next one is gonna be Lussu versus Puuro. So a Finnish country kill here. Lussu attempting to potentially break Puuro's, I think it's like a three game win streak that he is on at the moment. But I think Lussu hasn't been doing too bad either recently. Let's pull out the numbers. Or actually, no, actually, Lussu hasn't had the best luck with the recent matchups, it looks like. But hey, every matchup is a new chance. We'll see what we can do against Slayer, one of the most explosive characters in the game. But Baiken quite explosive as well in her own right. You just need to get to the mix-up position. You need to either get the S cavalry attached, at which point you're guessing for huge numbers, or you could get a throw-in, where after which there are just so many different layers of mix-ups that Baiken could run on you. It's really hard to know all of them. And she is quite a rare type of character in Guilty Gear Strive, where she has really good set play mix-up game, and those mix-ups also lead to quite a lot of damage as well, compared to characters like Ino or Bridget or Milia, who don't necessarily get that much damage out of their nutty mix-ups. Speaking of that damage, ooh, goes for the throw a little too early. However, Puuro not getting a word in between there either. They like the perfect distance here for Baiken's far slash. Able to box the opponent in the corner. It's not a bit too heavy. That was a nice confirm that was actually not a counter hit. So if you get a normal hit with that too heavy, you just have to go for an immediate Mappa punch instead. Oh yeah, Lussu really likes using the gun at neutral when 50 meter is available. Ooh, for the full sequence, not quite the kill. Won't be able to build the 50. Puuro having the big life advantage here. Definitely wants to play still. Frame trap into the S but this is dangerous. We have meter. More ping pong. Drops it. The Kappa is still attached, just barely able to reach far enough with that wire C. In that kind of situations where wire C basically has, as far as I understand, a hard cap on how many pixels away it can hit. So even if you are extending yourself into whatever hitboxes, wire C is not really coded like that. So as long as you're standing far enough away, it can't reach you. But you know what can reach you? This vampire right here. Through the wall. Hard knockdown. Ooh, that was not a tight safe jump, huh? I guess makes sense because safe jumps don't work against Baiken. Gunshot. Pick up. Another one. Ooh, kill. Goes for the hard bait. Backdashes out of it. And still gets the throw. Lussu stealing it back with a big 100 meter expenditure combo with 2 gunshots. Not too bad. That was kind of hard sell as well, because Puuro was gonna get the burst back at the end of the combo, so I think Lussu didn't really get to finish that combo in an optimal manner, or rather chose to not finish it in such a manner. The delayed meaty here, big counter hit. This is how you RPS Baiken. It doesn't really matter what you press on Wake Up against Baiken, it's more like when you press. And a small, 10-9 frame delay there. I forgot how many active frames Hiragi actually has, but a small delay here on your meaty can yield you massive amount of damage. Goes for an empty throw again. What's next? Cross up something, but ends up missing it. And Puuro was ready to mash out as well. Way to a big 2D counter hit. Luckily for Lussu, the wall gives away just in time. Sometimes the wall really do save your life, huh? To the other side, the blood-sucking universe. Oh, was that early enough? Actually, it was too far enough for this occasion. And Puuro evens it up.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, starting with a nice angle there. That was gonna go for a full combo. From a jump K, Slayer with the roots, or rather Puuro with the Slayer roots. Nice, the backdash completely evading the incoming instant air as Yozan. And now in the corner, good check here. Could potentially change positions, won't be doing so now. And that's the cover mid screen. To the other side, close slash, checking if the opponent wants to get hit by meaty. The answer this time is, of course, no. There we go with the one hit confirmed. Boom, boom. Love it. Third strike style. Ooh, big hit. This will definitely be the corner, maybe even the wall. Not quite. Attach the... Ooh, lots of trades here, but definitely, I think somewhat in Lussu's favor. Both players trading with the lights, but the kabare has been attached. Back to the corner, forcing the wall break here. Ooh, no super there at the end. Ooh, combo opportunity. Yeah, that's a really nice timing for Puuro. Not only did you get out of the combo, but also took the last 50 meter away from Lussu. Now Puuro is working with that 50 meter, and that's surely gonna be the deciding factor to get the kill here. Yeah, Guilty Gear Strive, and not just Strive, but basically any Guilty Gear game has historically been quite the meter-centric kind of fighting game. Oh, being really tricky here. Big counter it again. The wall gives away just in the nick of time for Lussu to survive. But with how much health, it ain't gonna be easy to make that massive comeback when your opponent basically hasn't been hit even once and you are on your last pixels. Alright, another round start gambit. Puuro actually goes for a very standard one. Interesting, because Slayer has very sort of non-standard options for the round start, but Slayer also can just walk back on round start and evade that fast 9-frame far slash that Baiken has. I guess Baiken is one of those characters that would force you to consider that round start. Ooh, not low enough there for the gunshot to trigger. That's gonna be another round in Puuro's favor. It's gonna be super important to break the momentum of this Slayer player sooner rather than later. To the other side, good check here. Puuro absolutely cracked with the anti-air reactions. That's not an easy angle to play either, because like cross-up Yozan can be really hard to anti-air sometimes, requiring a very specific timing, especially if you're going for a 6B. And the old faithful round start, even though the extended round start position, too heavy, does reach, especially if the opponent is trying to extend something at you. And if that something is a low hitting move, even better. I tried to go for it again. This time Lussu though, I like it. Lussu on the next Yomi layer already recognizes that you did backwalk, micro backwalk in the previous round start, so I'm gonna try to catch you this time. Trade definitely in Puuro's favor. Ooh, and we're checking the reactions. Lussu does not have a way out of this one. Gets the hard knockdown. Ooh, can he block out of this one? Oh, tried to backdash. So getting caught by the subsequent slashes of Tsurane Sanzu Watashi. Ooh, that angle not quite working out for Puuro that time. But Lussu not getting too much out of that either. 5B. That was a plus for Puuro, perhaps? Into the standard Oki. Actually, faking a throw there. Dashing super deep and getting a counter hit close slash. Probably even better than the high-lows that you could that you're usually gonna be running as Baiken, right? Tatami holding down the fort, forcing Puuro to go for an aggressive burst here. Does pay off. Big time. 60% of Lussu's life is gone. Ooh, interesting angle there. The Yoden actually ends up whiffing completely. That's something that doesn't happen very often, considering like how wide and how huge the Yoden hitbox is. The burst made here from Puuro. Is that gonna be enough? Not quite. The reversal should work out. This is a 6K, right? No, that was an instant air dash. Air to air, Yosan pick up into... We're checking the reaction as well. What are the vibes looking like? I can do this as well. Are you ready for it? That's kind of like... I sort of like how dirty that is when someone checks your overhead reactions with a fully charged 5D, then you check them back and it ends up working out. And then you're in like a conundrum where both players are probably thinking, should I check again? Because it worked out before, and it is such a huge starter. Ooh, great footsies there. From the classic dandy step dodge into a punish there on the landing. Ooh, frame trap into the wild assault. Still decent amount of damage, even though I guess Slayer usually would prefer a different starter. We're gonna work with what we can get. It was a really fast round there. Sorry about the coughs. Almost swallowing my own tongue. Damn, it do be hot and hard out here. Starting with a very patient backwards jump tatami play, which, like, if your opponent chooses to sort of send themselves at you with the mappa or something of the like, they are gonna collide with that very defensive air tatami. Mix up time, just goes for the close slash again. That's another thing that I think Lussu likes quite a bit. Oh, okay, trade in Lussu's favor still. Baits out the YRC, and here comes the punish. Unfortunately, we don't have the 50 tension quite yet. The Lussu is playing a lot of these, how should we put it, like sequences that respect the opponent a lot, or rather expect the opponent to respect your stuff quite a lot. So dashing super deep close slashes, just doing empty mix-up close slashes from your like throw, tether mix-up, stuff like that. And that's surely gonna be enough. Yeah. As dominant as some of these rounds have looked for Puuro's favor, Lussu is definitely hanging in there. Utilizing the explosive nature of Baiken in turn. Yeah, and once again, expecting Puuro to walk back on round start, so instead dashing forward into a far slash in order to try to catch them. Okay, backdash. Yeah, that's gonna be a punish. However, very, very small punish with that 5B. I think Hand of Death is exactly -7, right? So if you are in a good position, you might be able to get a close slash. Or Hand of Doom? Did I say Hand of Death? It's always so hard to remember the name of that move. Ooh, that's a close slash. And we convert with the optimal as well. Fully charged 5D. Into the corner you go. Maybe a safe jump. The opponent sure as hell didn't try the Hiragi this time. I mean, Lussu hasn't tried to Hiragi too much either way. So opting to, instead of taking huge risks in that sort of way, just playing with the fundamentals. Ooh, and the far slash, the 9-framer reaches relatively far for its startup. And now Lussu's chance. Ooh, is that a drop? OTG? Yeah, that is gonna be an OTG. Reset in that sequence. Was that a... Here comes the burst bait. However, drops the bait combo. Still, Bulldog's in there with the use of the P... I think a B Mappa Hunch. Maintaining small, but a sure lead still here in this set. 2 games up, 5-3. Is Puuro gonna run away with another one? Nice check there with the 5B. And again, however, I think a lot of these jabs hasn't been fun. Ooh, that caught the backdash, I reckon. Into holding the opponent. Oh, wait a second! We tried to go for the Hiragi there, but the opponent was too far, so their normal just didn't connect. Those are kind of funny situations when they happen. Like both players are like, okay, I'm expecting the opponent, or I'm expecting the opponent to do the right thing, or rather, I know what the opponent is gonna do, but then there's some sort of weird extra layer there that makes both players just miss their place. Okay, the drive by Yozan, stealing not only the corner, but should lead into the hard knockdown wall break. Yes, indeed. So more mix-up time. Universal Gold Burst, probably the best use of your burst in that situation. However, this gunshot takes care of not only Dandy Step, but also the back step of of Slayers because there is so many active frames, or rather, it's rather slow. It is the slowest backdash in the game, right? If I recall correctly. So the sort of the tracking of the gun and when the shot is gonna explode seems to be really good at catching those kind of things. So that would probably force Puuro to think about, you know, trying to move around so much with Slayer's unique options. Big combo. Oh, misses the Ender Super again. It is gonna trade, but in Lussu's favor. IBFD does end up not doing too much if there is no follow-through. It's sometimes hard to react to if you actually got it in time. Ooh, that's a big one. Oh, unless the angle doesn't quite work out for Puuro. Good timing on the burst, putting the opponent in the corner, into the throw situation as well. Oh, interesting. Resetting the combo before the wall break happens, I reckon. And that was a smart decision. I think Puuro might have calculated that they didn't have the kill right then and there. So instead, skipping the wall break and going into another Oki situation with the full stick of butter available that you can then use on pressure resets, or if you manage to get the hit very early, you can just spend all of it on Last Horizon as well. Guarantee the kill. Right, full combo. Maybe it didn't work out as Lussu wanted there. Lost frames again as every time the S cover is reattached, leads into plus frames. That's a lot of life gone. We haven't seen too many of those. Oh, interesting. Switching positions with that throw break. Well, players looking for that one decisive hit. Is that no? The board is too high up in the air. Misses the Hiragi. No worries. Just keep it going. Instant air dash. Maybe we find something. Maybe we don't. But this time Lussu indeed does. 5-5. Finding themselves in a really good position here. Considering that Puuro has been basically I guess the guy in the driver's seat most of the time for this set. Trying to intercept, Puuro smartly didn't commit to the instant air dash immediately. Well, that's a good trade for Slayer. Oh, another great one. But this has been the bane of Puuro's existence, getting the... Oh, that's gonna die. Yeah, both the back step as well as the dandy step. Great Hiragi. Late when it matters the most. Oh, that's gonna whiff completely. Interesting. Wait, why though? Wait, maybe the Yozen was not what Lussu meant to do, because you often see the instant air backdash into like a jump slash right. But it came out as a Yozen, which ended up, I guess, just completely airballing there. Ooh, we have a full sequence. Yeah, Lussu knew we can't just take all of that. But also after the air gun, putting themselves in a really, really dangerous close slash anti-air situation. And now with the last pixels. Oh, we have an opening. We do have to deal with burst potentially. Puuro might also just take this burst to the last round. Kept smartly playing the tension resources first as a defensive measure. Yeah, and then just into a 2-heavy. Like it. This was probably the safest play from Puuro. You could also argue that like if you want to commit everything, then maybe you burst first and then afterwards you use the meter to close in again. But I mean, of course, the safest play would be to save the burst. The little delay there was probably looking for the burst from Lussu. Once again, throw out the corner. Ooh, the shimmy. Was looking for that burst for quite a few sequences, but Puuro smartly picking the right time and the roll punish into the 100-meter super. How much is this gonna do? Is it a kill? This is a kill for sure. Boom, you're dead. I can't even remember what the raw value of that super is, but it is quite a lot. So you're not gonna see hits like that very often. Set point position Puuro. Lussu has been very good at hanging in the tail of Puuro so far. Oh, frame trap Escabari. Yummy, yummy. Full combo. Again, the side switch maybe does not end up mattering. Tried to hit a button there, but I think that cross-up Yosen is still maybe a little plus. And frame trap into the gun. There is still a chance. Puuro with a superior amount of burst resources there at the end of this round, or rather at the end of this particular game that could end up ending the set. Oh, now we're going into the 5D. Really? Positive bonus has been acquired. Ooh, misses completely with that with the Mappa. If you don't drop, it's a kill, right? Yeah, Puuro doesn't really drop too many combos. We got the back hitting pile bunkers, scoring up the maximum amount of damage, and once again, Puuro remains undefeated for the 4th time in a row. Who will slay the Slayer menace? Who will slay the Slayer? Damn. I don't know. Maybe you. Maybe you can slay him if you sign up next week. All right, proceeding into our Unica matchup of the week. Sorry about the card. We had a little bit of a had a little bit of an accident with with the whatchamacallit, with the flags. So I had to bust out my inner paint specialist to fix the situation. The call for Jayce and Unikar sounds in the Discord. So the sibling rivalry matchup. These characters are like surprisingly similar to one another in a lot of ways. Makes sense lore-wise, because they come from the same tree. We do have the Kisk family shenanigans, the slides, the fireballs. I guess in Sin's case, the fireballs are replaced by absolutely outrageously good pokes, such as the Beak Driver. Unica also has kind of like a Beak Driver variant, or you could argue it's more like Dizzy's Michael Sword, the 214S. Yeah, a lot of tools are like very similar to one another. If we have to sort of point out the differentiating factors between these characters, Unica does get probably gets the first word in, because you are a fireball character and you probably have you have a little bit more range than your brother. And you can maybe during pressure you can sort of enforce a little bit more of that mental stack. But then Sin, especially from this distance, Sin has the long-range conversion capabilities that really cannot be rivaled by Unica. Unica is a damage powerhouse from like close mid-range with her like glow slash and 5 heavy. But when it moves to like an outside fight, like a long-range footsies, that's when Sin is at a much better advantage. Ooh, the shimmy here. However, Unikar chose to, instead of going for the throw, going for an RC instead, slowing down the... Ooh, did I see a backdash? I did see a backdash, and it actually punishes it! Big Hail Mary, finding a hard knockdown here. Deflect shield will be nullified by the forward-moving momentum of Sin's Normal, the 5 heavy, the most unlikely anti-air of all of Sin's moves, ends up working out still. Ooh, the first hit cancel into an overhead, and again, yeah, both of these characters have a lot of like shenanigan type overheads a lot. Technically, none of which is like a real mix-up per se. But I mean, both of these characters do like the pseudo high-low mix-ups. Sin with the hoof elk, and then Unika with her Greed Sever variant. Ooh, the Guard Crush. Was able to jump out of there. I think Unika just was expecting a DP there, maybe. Although, from the Blue Beam Guard Crush, which is... It is a Guard Crush and it is plus 12. There is technically like... It's kind of like an improved YRC kind of a situation. Oh, here we go. That's going to be a pickup, though. One of the few situations where you actually can get a meterless combo. The Arbiter, or what is it called? Arbalest State overhead, if it counter hits, you don't even have to spend 50 meter on it. You just get a combo just like that. Ooh, and again! Was a little too far this time around on the RTL. Do we have the punish? Okay, getting a punish between the third and the second and the third hit, but we'll take it. What is there? What's there for, you know, Jayce to do anyway? You could arguably run away with the RTL to the other direction in that kind of situation, where if the opponent respects it, then you're sort of safe. Ooh, from the 6P. Yeah, 6P is a little prorated, or very crabby to decade kind of a starter, so hard to get too much damage out of that. -3 from Unika, but from that range, it's gonna be just pure RPS. RTL, would that hit from behind though? No, it does not. But Unika was also a little late there. Swinging the bar slashes. Ooh, the Elegant just barely ends up hitting. Nice whip punish there. No big conversion though for Unikar. Good timing on the burst, putting the opponent in the corner. YRC, make sure that there is no shenanigans at the opponent. Jayce tries to press a button there on the Guard Crush, which of course is a no-go if your opponent goes with a fast enough button. Ooh, going under here. Round start option from Jayce was also very interesting. I think I saw 5 heavy. The red slide knockdown. Not the best in terms of frame advantage, but you can definitely pick it up with an RC. Forcing the wall break here. Massive life advantage for Unikar. 6P no cancel though. Drift straight into, is probably trying to press maybe a 6P of your own or maybe a DP. Ends up working out in the end still.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
I think what Unika is missing in raw power compared to like Sin's rewards and everything, she sort of makes up for it in trickiness, or in being just a... Ooh, okay, straight into RTL. And it works out. Gonna force break the war as well. So the RTL is a true reversal. And it works pretty well in tandem with DP. So if you think your opponent tries to evade your DP by moving backwards, RTL will always reach. The successful wall break here takes up the red beam. The optimal wall break scenario, if you have the frames for it, is to always go into Arbalest State instead. And break with one of your empowered specials, or... Oh, that's a big one though! And we convert into the right one! Wait, that wouldn't work? Huh? That's such an unfortunate thing, because you lose like more than half of your life for getting counter hit on round start with that 5 heavy. Oh, wait, that works?! So high up in the air that you actually get a 5k pickup. I've never seen that before. That was a cool one. With the FRC, uh-oh, misses the conversion. The 5 heavy chase is really far away. 1 hit confirmed into the Arbalest super. Lots of damage. Ooh, the last hit, the tip of the hit. I think that was a hit on the blue slide as well, where you would have been plus. Because if you space it perfectly, the last active frames will actually make you be a little bit of plus. Very rare way to see that happen though. Alright, starting with the air fireballs. I think the air fireballs, we were talking about this in the Sindos Discord as well a couple of days ago, where you would have to be very horizontal and very airborne chasing Unika if she decides to throw those air fireballs, like jump D into empowered air fireball. Oh, tried to go for an air-to-air. However, big miss, resulting in a punish. PRC into overhead. Good block there. That's a true punish from that range. It's not too minus in the way that if you do it at range, you're like, I think -6, which is usually not punishable, but at that point blank distance, you're basically betting the farm. And a good block on the overhead there from Jayce as well. Early bursts have been used by both players. No escapes here from this big combo damage. Look at this. Into the DP. This is the too heavy there. The too heavy as a combo tool has a, like, it does slide you forward, but it has somewhat limited range in some of the combos. That's why you're often trying to do as many Kara special moves as possible in Unica's combo paths. Nice! Sees the slow recovery. Backdash, which is also slowed up even more by the RC, I think, that connected with Jayce. Right, the 2 stamina burn misses the combo there, or rather the ender at the end. First works out, putting unikar in the corner. Jump K to Jayce. Surprised that that didn't actually hit unikar. Into the basic combo. Ooh, I think could have picked that up there. with the standard BMB 0 stamina expenditure if you go hoof stomp in the corner. But now, who gets to cash it out is, in fact, unikar. Taking the Arbalest stance with 6 heavy straight into the blue slide, and with a good hit confirmed once again into a kill. Yeah, unikar has made sure that they, like, whenever they, like, don't necessarily want to risk the most optimal combos, just going with the stuff that works. So the combo execution is looking pretty good for unikar so far. Look on the overhead, still gonna press or respect after the 2 stamina burst. Oh, this is dangerous though. Let's see the punish. Maximum amount of damage. Oh, no cancel. Once again, unfortunate whiff on the DP there, the basic standard BMB. Oh, but this Sin and his hitboxes on the jump-ins. But also the beam, especially the blue beam, having a pretty decently large hitbox on. Ooh, let's see this combo though. This time we're hitting it. Half of your life gone. Into a tough mix-up situation as well. DP there after the 2 heavy, very nice choice. As long as Sin doesn't have 50 meter in the tank, you can just kind of churn that DP after you see 2 heavy. There's like not really anything Sin can do about it. And once again, another good DP response there on the Elk follow-up RPS. unikar starting to run away with the lead a little bit here. Starting with Far Slash with a very basic combo. Not necessarily doing as much damage there from that round start as Sin does, but choosing to burn only 1 stamina this time. DP once again is the escape. Ah, but no stamina. So this is... Oh, never mind. Misses the punish between the first and the second hit. It's a little bit of a knowledge check that you gotta hit your throw or your close slash as soon as you can in order to make that gap. Oh, nice. 6 heavy into immediate RTL. Does this connect? Yes, it does. That's kind of cool. Checking that the opponent was kind of far away, so going with one of those 3rd strike conversions. Yep. Turn the DP there. As long as the opponent... Oh, that was so smart. So you also have to kind of delay your jump-in button against Unica's beams. Gold burst. Not a true punish, but was attempting to press buttons afterwards. The 2 heavy ends up missing. But again, another DP. And Unica's DP is like, it's kind of standard, but kind of like a tricky variant of a normal DP, because it does have a huge gap between the first and the second hit, and
sort of the trick is that you always want to try to crouch down under the second hit if possible. That'll make it so minus that your mom would be ashamed as well. All right, with the RTL, surely gonna break the wall here. Who's spending the rest of the tension as well, so gonna be really low resources on this area shift. Yep. This is unfortunately a guaranteed punish, I think. Even if you go like too heavy into Big Driver, that's gonna be so minus that the Unika player can just churn a DP or a super to catch you afterwards. That's why too heavy is a very like, oh, it's a wave punish on the DP. That's why seeing too heavy is such a risky button, especially against other DP characters. In a lot of these situations, you would much rather use 5 heavy if you can help it, which is an amazing button, even on block. All right, 6 speed there on the advancing brother, and utilizing the rather the massive amount of weight and gravity that Unika's jumps have. Like, look at that instant air dash. She comes down super fast, making like short burst instant air dash kind of situations really favorable for her. Just like they are maybe for like Goat Lewis. When Goat Lewis goes for like a forward jump D, he comes down really fast. Kind of same kind of vibe. Once again, the overhead is blocked. It is the trickier option to block for sure, but if it's always your later one, your opponent can kind of... Oh, nice! With the cross up here! Oh, still got the close slash anti-air out of the sky. That's where the big money is. Unikar is not here to make small conversions happen. And why would you? Why would you on Unika? Let's see, can we get the punish this time? Yeah. Actually, even better to go for the throw punish. Even though it's a smaller one, it has better chance of working out because 2-frame startup versus 7-frame startup. 2 stamina burn. Burns the third one as well. Not quite close enough to corner to get a wall break without that 50 tension. Ooh, nice wave punish there. No cancel into the blue slide. Oh, but again, it is a slightly ambiguous situation, that RTL, because if you're not in close slash distance, that means you probably can't get a clean punish unless you use K buttons. Slide does go under the beam. Ah, drop on the combo. That's unfortunate. Can we get a wave punish? Not quite. Spends 1 stamina. 1 stamina left in the can. DP gets Unikar out. And the instant air dash uncombos and sends it. Look at this. This is a hard call out there. Sending the hoof stomp, the overhead with 0 stamina. If that is blocked, you're dead. But sometimes at the end of the round, it might be worth risking the farm for. If it works, as they say. Being that there was not enough frames to get the 6P out there in that anti-air situation, and as a result, Jayce scoring out big time, 60% of the Unikar's life gone. Waiting potentially for a DP or a burst here. Oh, but the second hit of the DP from Unika, such a massive range, not only horizontally but also vertically. The miss confirm here again. And the throw will put them in the corner. OTG, maximum damage there with the 5 heavy. And even if it doesn't kill, you can cancel into the 5 heavy and then dash for plus frames. So Unikar basically had all of their bases covered there. Now Jayce in a little bit of a tough situation here. 1-6. And Unikar has a lot of momentum going into this. Trying to go for the backdash shimmy. It is a very common way of trying to sort of check out what sort of way the opponent is defending with. Like from your 2 stamina burn, you could instant air backdash shimmy or backdash shimmy, which will call out their fuzzy throw. And unless you go for that shimmy, it's like impossible to see that they are actually doing that. Ooh, at the tip of the range. Run out of stamina just at the end of things. Only plus 10 out of that red greed sever from Unika. I think I saw far slash, or sorry, close slash, which is going to be called out by this RTL. Jayce still alive. Hanging by a thread, perhaps. Oh, 6B. Unika 6B is so tiny. That's another thing that the Kisk family members have not shared equally is the 6Bs. Unika is much more close to Kai, but even worse than Kai, I feel like, in the range department. Ooh, tried to struggle out of there. RTL, will it hit? No. But again, RTL is such a huge burst of momentum that unless you're committed to running forward immediately, it can be hard to punish as well. DP once again has been working out so well. Misses the air throw. Back to neutral we go. Nice, got them with the elk and with a full tank of stamina. We can definitely make this kill happen. Miss input on the RTL, gets a 5 heavy instead. That could be an opportunity for unikar. Do I have 100 meter? No. But smartly waiting for the first and the second hit. Go for it again. This could catch. Yeah, it does. Unika committed into the beam follow up there instead of dash canceling, right? From the 5 heavy, which the most standard way is to dash cancel it for plus frames. But instead chose to hang back and fire the beam instead. Nice instant air dash punish on the grounded beam. And momentum burst, try to cape unikar in the corner. Don't want to though, don't want to. Use that DP to break out and create real estate. Ooh, was hoping for that one to hit. So that's gonna be back throw, back into the corner you go. But now Jayce with all 3 stamina present. Almost so close. Jump heavy would have probably reached. We're gonna burn it. No DP this time around. It's gonna be surely plus frames for Unika, making sure that the blue RC slows down the opponent's frames as well. Set point, Unika with that big round start 5 heavy counter hit. There's no way but to burst that. Otherwise the round could be over right there. Spend all of the stuff available, positive bonus. Now let's see, are we gonna play defensive? Yes, we are. Very common way for sim players to, after spending all of your stamina on a wall break, rare footage of 6B for Unika actually hitting something, Pog! Leading into a big combo. I mean, what it lacks in reach, it makes up for it in combo damage. Beating Sin on Wake Up. Don't cancel into anything. Trying to drift forward there, potentially to... Oh, I think I saw something from unikar. No, never mind. Ah, but the range is once again so ambiguous. From that range, you can't really get a punish between the first and the second hit. Unless you would go for a K-ban. But it's a little bit of esoteric knowledge, right? Ooh, was almost in the perfect position. And again, the Elkan is surprisingly bad at going under the beam, which is why I usually recommend sim players to jump punish those beams instead. Much better reward, and you know, your jump starts in 4 frames, whereas the low profile frames of Elk start in how many frames? After 10 frames or something? Ooh, caught them with the overhead. However, would this go through? Maybe clash? No, just powers through completely. Looking for one more. Overwhelming life advantage. Good block on the overhead, but no punish. Always punishable since first special moves, unless cancelled into something, are so minus that you can always press a button. But you gotta be ready for it, and you gotta be watching the Sin player's stamina gauge to be on the same layer there. I started with a jump D, getting a small hit. Those jump Ds, even though they are kind of annoying to deal with at neutral, ultimately they deal very little damage. Straight into close slash. Wrong confirm though. Yep, once again, the DP after the 2 heavy. Had the right idea. The 2 heavy, 6-6 FRC 2 heavy is the most common way of calling out those DP matches. 5D doesn't quite reach. Unikar on the chase. Nice whiff punish there, and can get a full combo out of this. Even if you don't hit confirm into 2 heavy, out of that 5 heavy, you can still make the conversion if you go 5 heavy, and then dash cancel. You can still get like slightly smaller amount of damage. But we're going into the full combo this time around, baby. Stick as well. Was a little late there. But the second volley is gonna make up for it. Unikar once again on a set point position. Backdash does not get out of you out of that safe jump. Or that instant air dash, rather. Yo, those must have been from a full range. Yep, once again, DP is the right call. Always smash DP after 2 heavy. I think that's one takeaway watching this as like an educational set. Really good example why like DP characters are so good against that button, that 2 heavy from Sin. The best you can do as Sin. What is happening here? Hello? Please, can I get out? Let me out of Daisuke's wild ride. What the hell is going on? But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, like your best case scenario as Sin is to go like 2 heavy into airtight beak driver, but you're still minus. You're still so minus there. This is very peculiar. I've never seen anything like this before. The game is literally going haywire, and I think as a spectator, I have no way of getting out of this. Now it's just completely frozen. The game just bricked. The game literally. Okay. Ooh, I was scared that I would have to Alt F4 out of that. But yeah, really good on Unikar knowing a couple of the most important anti-Sin things. The RTL is always like very annoying for people to deal with unless they've had the like exact matchup notes delivered to them, like how to punish and at which ranges what should you press. But still, good stuff. Unikar's DP does so much work, even though it is like a DP that does, like, ultimately doesn't get you that much, right? It puts the opponent back into neutral, and you don't even get an opportunity to make connect a normal, like Leo would have, for example. So she's relatively low reward for her DP, but her DP is quite tricky to deal with if you're not used to it. Alright, we're gonna go into our other super high level match of the evening, which is gonna be Mox Baiken versus Civ Ramlethal. Ooh, Mox even with the aura. We've been grinding, huh? We've been grinding. Yeah, this matchup is definitely a case of one character has the neutral advantage. But if Baiken can overcome that and get into the striking distance, it's gonna be much better. Because Ram doesn't really have a DP. Ram does have a really good reversal super. 9-framer Mortobato reaches really far, but I think generally you're kind of hoping to have like 50 meter for some sort of escape option if possible as Ramlethal. If you get caught in that set play loop, or hell, even if you just get your if you just get your ass attached to the opponent with the Escabari. Cross frames from the rock. In this kind of situation, when your opponent manages to actually clear out the pressure and the mix-ups, you're just trying to buy time for your swords to come back. kind of like a mini Sin stamina kind of situation. And now the pressure. Ooh, the far slash reaches so far. It actually caught Mox out of that instant air backdash, which I don't think a lot of characters can actually tag, right? If you try to swing far slash immediately, it would just whiff, and Viking would usually whiff punish you with the jump slash, right? To the wall we go. Soft knockdown though, drifting forward, put them down with the staircase. But we were able to build that 50 meter that we were talking about that should hopefully exist when you're defending against the opponent's onslaught as Ramlethal. An RC here. Fast RC into a rock, and then the red parry came out at not the right timing that time. Another very oppressive round start option combined with the round start sword throw, which you generally, I think, have to either... You would have to jump over, right? So then you might collide with one of her other, like, round start jumping options instead. Or she might just not do anything and watch you jump at her and anti-air instead. Surgical work here this round for Mox. That was absolutely a Viking round. Ooh, and that's a... Oh, never mind! The delayed explosion! I was about to say that's a huge RPS loss whenever you miss with one of your swords. Good escape still. Collides with the jump BP of Civs. One sword comes back. Time to make you guess. But Mox is staying very, very tight here. Surprising to see Viking this patient. A lot of Viking players, of course, sort of rushing to use that unique tool that we call the guard cancel or the parry. I mean, it depends on how you use it. It can be a parry or it can be a red parry card cancel. Once again, one sword is missed. And with the drive by Yozan, we're gonna go into a big combo here. Ooh, got hit, but it was not a true combo. So the Mortabato mash gets out there. And now two swords is big. That's why Mox is also ready to use the 50 meter to get out of there with the use of YRC. Of course you would. Of course you would. Gotta still wait for the sword guard crush to dissipate though, because if I recall correctly, YRC cannot be inputted during that. So you're technically forced to take at least some sort of mix-up situation if the Ramlethal wants to force it like that. Ooh, starting with a jump D, that's kind of cool. Cool response to the immediate jump heavy that Ram can make. Escabre attached as well. Hits here are big. The Cabaret just dissipated at the very end. Ooh, great reaction there. Attaching it again, yeah. That's the problem. If you're too passive against the pressure, and if you're not looking to 6P those Cabarets, then a reset into another Escabre is always available, potentially. Yep, 9-framer, fast as fuck, boy, from half screen away. Limited in range, but if you are in that sort of close mid range, one of the best far slashes to play the neutral with, for sure for Viking. Double jump, on falling for the bait, but instead escaping the corner position herself, Mox. With the instant air dash, Yozan leading into plus flames and a mix-up. Boom boom, that's a lot of guns. That's a lot of guns without using that gun super. Basically guaranteeing that there is no counterplay to the sword throw at a round start. Spending 50 for it, and this should be the kill. Even mid-screen, very decent amount of damage and firepower for those mixes. Mox 2 up. Starting with the jump heavy once again. So the tricky part about that jump heavy is that it hits so deep. And many characters, if you don't have a super exceptional 6P, you might struggle anti-airing that button. Ooh, from such a far range away. I love Mortabato. Mox momentarily disengaging there, not forcefully keeping the corner position. To the other side, was that meant to be a Yozan? Oh, but the back dash shimmy, catching the throw into plus frames. Oh, never mind, we're actually gonna go into a combo if the opponent doesn't block. Yep, wire C, no chance. If you break that corner pressure sequence even before, like right after Ram has thrown the swords, there's no opportunity for her to stall to get those back. Picks up time, the double overhead leading into very decent damage, and very good on Mox, hit confirming the super as well. Now, Civ is so low on resources, Deflect Shield is probably the only thing that she can do. Although, Mox also tried to go with the super safe Escabari on the wall break, which I guess can just be backdash. Here comes the second throw. Mox is staying relatively tight there. Finally gets cracked up by the throw. Goes for it again 2 times in a row. Was a little bit too far away from the potential PRC option select. And it can be super dangerous to play the throw as your last gambit. Because especially at that point, the opponents are probably going to be fuzzy jumping out. So having the 50 meter there at the end of the round, super important if you go for throws. Nice interception there. Straight into the sword throw loop. Throw another one. The throw is gonna waste a decent amount of time. Again, the fuzzy jump out there from Mox. Get a little bit of a Yozen send them back into the mid-screen. Swords have come back. Oh, but maybe it's not gonna matter. Civ is gonna build the burst. Would she burst though? There's the bait. Looking for the burst or the wire C. Yo, it's still, oh my, Jesus Christ. That's more than half screen away. Although arguably, I think I saw Mox try to extend herself into it with the heavy Kabare, right? Right, successful corner break here. And with a positive bonus, we're gonna get to that decent amount of meter here. Lots of options available for Civ, whereas Mox is so patient. Hard bait, punished. Here comes more Dabato. 100 meter into it, still holds on to it. There it is. I mean, even though it didn't end up working out for Mox, that's so much value. You got so many extra lives there. But that's certainly, that exchange there at the end of that round is surely gonna play a part in the burst baiting metagame in the future. Let's jump out of the sword into the explosion. Ooh, tried to go for a red parry there. Not the right timing again. The timing is very tight after all. I mean, it is a strange, unique option in games like these, being able to do stuff out of your block stun. So of course it needs to be fairly tight and not too easy to perform. Nice interception again, jump PP. However, the judge, oh, here comes a bit much better anti-air. The 6P into the corner. Didn't have the meter to make sure that the opponent goes down though. Smart. So Civ here said, all right, I think the opponent is gonna drift forward at round start. So I'm gonna, before the BRC flash, I'm gonna put a K button in there. And unless Mox would go for, as soon as they see that the K button is gonna go active, unless they go for the frame 1 parry, they can't really do anything about it. Plus frames from the rock. Ooh, wait, that could have just blocked there. Good play on Civ, using the 50 meter to bait the burst. And just like that, I think this is a very common occurrence for Civ. Starting out a little cold, but after like 3, 4, 5 games, starting to get much more warmed up, and things are starting to work out for her. Yep, good anti-air there once again. Definitely the kind of character who you want to have really good anti-air reactions with. Oh, to the other side and fully charge 5D. We're going into the shenanigans territory. Do we know the combo though? Was that a mistake? Was that an accident? Quite the wall stick here. That waking up with a sword throw? Real? But there is still a chance, although looking very dangerous here, trying to jab in order to take the round right there. I mean, in this kind of situations, if you are Mox, the jabs are extremely attractive because one of those can end the round immediately. But when can you get one? No punish there, and then double KO, so that will be neutral value. If one player was up around, it would be unfavorable for the player who was just had the lead. But in that situation, when both players are still with both of their lives, completely neutral. Waiting for the burst potentially, trying to juggle there with the 5k. Burst never comes though. Mox has seen this pattern, has seen a lot of burst baits. Attach the Kabari, mix up to the other side. We're still churning the Mortobato. That's kind of smart because it has been working out. If the opponent drops their sequence, if there is a gap, then they are gonna take that Mortobato potentially. Ooh, frame trap, still got the Escapari attached, but at what cost? Coming down with the jump heavy, both players, extremely good jump heavies on both of these characters. Civ has the meter, has the advantage in the form of the meter, spend it, force the guard crush. But I think the guard crush actually didn't happen because the explosion didn't quite reach, or... Wait, no, the guard crush is not in the explosion, it's on the initial hit, right? Yeah. Okay, Mox with 2 games of lead here. So once again, asking the question, what you gonna do? I'm sitting fairly comfortable. How about you? Oh, but the sword toss. Oh, and baits the burst as well. The universal screen-wide range of the blue burst. It was a sword toss after all, so you are basically instantly actionable after your hit. Without the sword, the Mortobato is gonna do a little bit less damage, but doesn't matter. The hard knockdown is... Not just the hard knockdown, but both the hard knockdown and the positive bonus. The name of the game, the most common win condition. Oh, we were talking about jumping over, but of course you can go under as well. So round start too heavy. One of the ways to call out that round start sword toss. Because it's tank Hellel, it has been adjusted so it no longer comes out guaranteed if Ramlethal gets hit. Can actually do stuff like that. Once again, staying patient, finally spending the first portion of that 100 tension. Yeah, and a good hold there on the burst. Getting a panic burst out in that situation would have been kind of bad, not being able to go into the last round with full burst resources. Yeah, there it is, using it aggressively. Forcing this aggression kind of playstyle that Civ really loves on Ramlethal. And that Ramlethal really enables as well, being an extremely offensive-oriented character. I mean, she is very neutral-oriented character as well, so you can play this character defensively. But of course, where the bread is made is usually in this position. How is Farslash actually able to hit? Because of the BRC, I reckon? Into the Ondo, taps the 5D, however, opponent is so smart, standing up to block the overhead. And again! Wesley flips herself into the corner. It's a big opportunity for Mox to play. Swords are coming back. I see close slash. Yep, smart play from Civ. Noticing that, oh, wait, what a mash 2D! Sending the opponent to the stratosphere into a big juggle. All right. Yep, starting with a sword throw once again. And I think you would have to jump forward and press a button immediately, right? Maybe some characters' jump angles aren't actually good against that. So, tried to go for that deep dash throw. By inputting the throw a little too early, Mortobato straight through the wall, and most importantly, this gives Civ back her swords. Whenever you go through the wall, the sword status does not matter, they always come back. So one of the things that you're kind of trying to achieve as fast as possible after the swords are thrown Alternatively, if you can't stall for enough time, you're just trying to super immediately when possible to get them back. Or I mean, you can go for a soft wall break as well. That will bring them back too. Which is probably... Is going back to neutral with both of your swords better than holding the opponent in the corner without swords? Only Ramlethal players probably can answer. Ooh, tried to go for a 6P. However, Mox had the right button queued up. Too heavy, go under. And now you're potentially guessing. Ooh, but a great gap breaker there between the... Was it the far slash and the wait, was that a teabag? I'm unsure if we were buffering or what. But Mox, once again, maintaining the 2-game lead there. I mean, you could be buffering for, like, Tsurane-san Watashi as well. What is that? What is this, a witch hunt for teabags? Is it... is it that bad? Nice, because the Kabari is attached. We'll be able to get a nice combo out of the normal throw. Mox with a... Ooh, that's kind of cool. Starting with a round start Yozan, and if they don't get hit, then you have the FRC momentum cancel into more buttons. Getting mixed up by the side-swapping right throws, left-rights. One down with the air special. Ooh, again, attempting the red parry, but the timing just not quite right. Requires usually a lot of labbing time, a lot of experience to know like where to go for those red parries and how to make, like how to hit them most consistently. That's a lot of risk. Ooh, that's a little bit of a jump scare there with the flip kick. Not just the combo damage, but that was a huge reward for Civ being able to sort of make the risk go away. Still, at the end of the ground, Mox still gaining the successful hit. The hit that mattered the most. Moving Mox to 6 points here. It's gonna have to be a huge momentum swing in favor of Civ. Oh, that's a punish. Go for it again. Oh, this time playing the 2D instead. But I think Civ had the right idea that time. Yeah, it is a little gambly. It is a little dangerous to play the TK Yozan on a situation where you don't have the tension yet, but you can work with it if you want to play mind games. Oh, this time the tap 5D ends up working. And through the wall we go. Civ, not ready to go down just yet. This time the... Oh, right, because the jump D was meant as an option to kill the jump heavy from Ram, right? But that's kind of cool because the jump D pushes you back so much that the sword toss actually misses too. So that's not half bad of a round start for Baiken, it feels like. Drifting forward, tried to parry. Yeah, that's understandable. Because like your opponent has such a massive frame advantage there. Set point position Mox. No burst available. But in fact, the opponent's burst is gonna be unleashed too immediately on the first interaction. Can we keep this corner with the stagger pressure? I think that was a... no, that was still a punish there. It's the fully charged Rekka Ender. Is that safe? I forgot. Ram has been changed so many times. Got the burst! And then dash into the Chef Kish at the end. The TK Yozan, even without meter, enough to take the set 7-3. The first player so far that has been able to take out Civ's Ramlethal. Coming from the super high tier bracket, Mox finally slaying the beast with just as potent set play compared to Ramlethal.
Yeah. All right. So that would mean we have one more to go. And it's slightly unfortunate that we didn't quite hit the joke here. Or I mean, Neat definitely hit the joke. Nail in the coffin. Problem is that Shortex had to drop out from this week's Bounty Hunters, so we're actually not having Shortex here as it shows in the card on the right. But Rat is showing up to replace on a short notice. So this would be a UK versus East Coast match. East Coast US, that is. Alright, one more for the road, and of course, Rat, or not really of course, because the previous match that we watched from Rat, they were playing Asuka. However, this time it's gonna be Nagoriyuki instead. If it was the Asuka, it would probably be a couple of skill tiers above what PleaseDontLaugh is capable of handling, but with the downgrade to a side character is actually potentially gonna be an interesting match.
Duel 1.
More explosive characters, which has been pretty much the theme today on Bounty Hunters. I mean, what Unika was probably the most like the least explosive character on our roster tonight, which is kind of funny because like she shits out damage as well. All right, breaking the momentum here, while we still have that blood open to be spent, as well as the tension. Plus frame, Escabari into a nice little combo. DVSA starting the round without giving Rat much time to play at all. Oh, he's a very patient kind of way of playing Nagoriyuki. Because like we mentioned at the start of the show, usually the trademark of Nagoriyuki is that you start the round with all the blood open, and the premise is that blood burners are very hard to challenge. Oh, the patience pays off. We were looking for that anti-air. God, I love Nagoriyuki playstyle like this. I feel like if I had picked up Nagoriyuki instead of Sol at Vanilla Season 1, I would probably play like this as well. Ooh, the round start too heavy though, because it moves Baiken so far forward, able to apparently beat the classic round start backwards Fukyo into Beyblade. Now, nice jump out of them. Nice jump out of the Kabari. The most optimal scenario though is that, oh, wasn't watching the blood! So Rat is gonna go to 0 life, unfortunately here, but the blood is open. The blood is open for some wild plays if we want to do that. Again, really nice reaction, 6P. And I mean that, like, oh, too early. Never mind, just a happy little accident. Is Rat gonna still steal this back with 0 life? 6P again. Oh my god, Rat. You... I can't believe it. This dude is sitting patiently at full screen, all blood open, waiting for the opponent to just hang themselves with an instant air dash. You don't see it very often, honestly. Fucking love it. He's the footsies Nagoriyuki. Oh, the too heavy takes quite a few frames before the low profile starts.
So subject to the perfectly placed 5 heavy from Rat here. Alright, RCing, because they noticed that Wild Assault was gonna miss there. It's generally like, it is a good thing, good move to power through all kinds of things, but if it does not, if it's blocked, if it misses, generally not the best kind of thing. So like, if you really want to make sure that it's your turn afterwards, combine it with the RC. Right, Escabari, nice! Pulls them back from a backdash into a full conversion as well. Is this, I think this is close enough to the corner. Yep. So much damage because blood level 3 as well. Nice, and the shimmy there at the end. Yeah, this is much better round for PleaseDontLaugh, but ooh, I'm scared. He wouldn't steal it again, would they? One more 5 heavy and it's a steal. Plus frames on the ground gun. Okay. I'm scared. Like, is this rat guy a combat machine or what? Frame trap into Kabari. This time the S version. We have our damage condition attached. And after that, all that remains is finding a hit. Didn't quite work out as intended, but in the follow-up situation, we're still able to get the wall break. And now PleaseDontLaugh once again in a really great... Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Is Rat gonna do it again? That's a good adjustment. Because Rat has been so good at anti-airing those instant air dashes. You bring your layer to the game that counters their reaction anti-air, which could be, for example, the gun. I think Baiken doesn't... Oh. Ooh, looks like we're gonna get DC'd here. Let's see if the players notice. I was going to the wrong place. Whew. But yeah, it's I think that's probably the only thing that Baiken can do to call out like an instant reaction anti-air 6p. Like, other than utilizing your double jump and stuff like that, the gun will change your mode. I mean, I guess there is jump D as well, but I think the problem with Baiken's jump D is that the move takes a lot of frames to run its course and it pushes you back quite a bit, so baiting an opponent's grounded anti-air with that doesn't sound like doesn't sound like a great idea on paper. But yeah, the air gun is definitely a classic. Okay, and I think we got a sandbag there, so we're not counting this one. Jumping back in the 2-1 lead position for Rat. All right, back into it on our last matchup of the evening. Rat representing Europe and UK. As PleaseDontLaugh on his second showing on Bounty Hunters, 2 weeks in a row as well, representing North America. Ooh, that's gonna be a whiff punish for sure. However, the little gap between the jump slash and Yozan actually uncomboing there. 5 heavy, not quite reaching high enough. But then you're still boxing a character in the corner that has some difficulties playing neutral footsies. Ooh, missing that is crucial. Does PleaseDontLaugh notice? No! Oh, never mind. Oh, yes. I was like, no way they don't notice. in the round as well. Okay. Starting with the DP, missing the combo. Looked like there was a little bit of stutter there. Might have sort of affected the combo performance there. Although generally, as long as as soon as you land a combo, usually rollback netcode is gonna sort of favor you and let you sort of do the combo on your local, your local delay of sorts. Missed the throw there, but the recovery on that deflect shield is so fast. A little too short. Bike and problems. Just a little bit too stuffy. Here is the air gun again. Misses the combo by just a little bit. Next hit is gonna be big. Minus there, missing the white wild assault, and then using the shenanigans, the follow-up on the heavy kabari. Skipping a hop to the other side. Or I think that's the charge follow-up, right? Because you can definitely do that follow-up as a normal input as well, where it will land on the front. Right? Kind of neutral trade here. Both players knocking each other down. Once again, holding onto that blood open. This is a really scary kind of playstyle to play against Nagoriyuki. Because like every time, like if Nagoriyuki is not at that threshold at level 3, where he just can't perform any special moves anymore, then you're always guessing like, when is the Beyblade gonna come out? Oh, that was so dirty. Faking a meaty there. Please don't laugh. Went for the parry. All right, under the bar, slash. Ooh, nice block on the overhead. Tacked on the follow-up situation. Still, PleaseDontLaugh somewhat holding down the corner here. Boxing Nago in the corner sounds like a very perverse idea, but I mean, technically, no matter how good you are at neutral, if you can't walk backwards, if you can't move backwards, you're very limited in your neutral options. Steal opportunity, alright, just bouncing the opponent back and forth. I think that was because of the attached S-kabari mechanics, right? Nice pickup. We're gonna put a big fat combo here into the wall break. Half of your life. That's the holy grail of Nagoriyuki anti-airs. When you hit the opponent so high up in the air with the too heavy that you can actually follow up without canceling. Because I mean, you can't cancel anymore. Nice jump. One gets a punish on the way down as well. 6 heavy doesn't quite reach. DonLaugh goes for a backdash. Oh, no whiff punish attempt either. I think 6 heavy, like, great on block, but when it whips, it's one of those moves that whips for like around a second, like something like 60 frames. Oh, what onslaught there at the end. Start burning the blood when it matters the most. The closer you get to knocking down your opponent, and Age-Old Wisdom says, what was that angle? The jump heavy now. Age-Old Wisdom says that it gets more valuable to spend your resources the closer to death the opponent is, because you're not gonna miss those resources when they go down. There is no disadvantage if they're gonna be dead anyway. Now some of those resources are gonna come back really fast, like for PleaseDontLaugh. Going for the most safest play. I mean, the most safest play would be the S-kabari right away, but I think PleaseDontLaugh had like a small dash forward there to guarantee that the opponent ain't gonna backdash out of that. Ooh, the double jump. Yeah, that is one way to modify your momentum in the air. Attempting a whiff punish a little late there. Rat seems to be one of those players who kind of like using the 6 heavy as a footsies button here and there. Lots of plus frames. Now we're burning. Ooh, the stagger with that 6K. That looks dirty. Where are the gaps? Try to find them. Oh, nice backdash out of the 6 heavy meaty again. Double Fukyo. Trying to bamboozle the opponent. Decent amount of damage, and one more. Drifting into that 5D. Good block on the overhead. Oh, that's not enough, huh? But a huge... Oh, and again. With 2S, reaction 6P still. That's one of the classic sequences in Guilty Gear games. A lot of the times 2S kind of moves are, you know, they are fast, relatively fast on recovery. Usually your character's like fastest recovering, nice, yup. Your character's fastest recovering like neutral poke. They recover so fast that you get to still react with your anti-air. And Rat so far has shown aptitude for anti-air in basically everything on reaction. Double jump coming down from a very tricky angle once again, especially when jump heavy is concerned. That move hits very, very deep. What's the mix-up? Into a throw. And we can follow this up, especially in the corner. I guess PleaseDontLaugh would have loved if the wall didn't have so much damage already applied. Oh, the momentum actually keeps Rat in range for a blood-sucking universe. 6P into the right direction, no follow-up though. Takes the burst and gets a little bit of a punish. Yes, by burning the meter should be enough. Misses the company-ender there. Still a chance. No way. Again, I remember, but the blood pop is not of the benevolent kind this time around. But it was kind of like a do or die kind of a situation, so it's not like Rat had the luxury to think about not popping there. Ooh, taking a little bit of a book out of the same playbook that Mox was playing by in the previous game, with the meterless TK Yozan. Right, resetting while the Kabare is attached. Neutral trade into more blood burn, put them in the corner. I think Rat is blocking here, indeed. Let's see the combo. Would have loved to start with bar slash, but I mean, we take what we can get. And that should be enough. Rat. It's like extremely deliberate kind of Nagoriyuki play. There's like no extra buttons being pressed. Every single button delivers like it has a very deliberate purpose. Once again, pretty okay trade for Rat. But it is attached, so losing the RPS in that sort of way. And still not close enough to the 50 tension either. Oh, but PleaseDontLaugh definitely has theirs. Staying just outside of each other's reach in the air. Nice jump, and that's gonna be a big punish. Wait. They can't have been waiting for the burst, because like it's only PleaseDontLaugh that has it here. Just a little combo mistake. Leading into good things still. 50 tension into tank for Rat, drifting forward, cut him, but that's very expensive. Now, that blue RC will make sure that Rat is gonna be super dry for basically the rest of the round. But I mean, I guess Rat hasn't been like relying too much on the meter burns. Just, you know, playing clean footsies without spending too many resources, even without spending too much blood. Of course, in places like this, you really have no choice. You are gonna spend that blood. You are gonna use that Hukyo to reposition yourself. Tough pickup there. One more 5 heavy. Look at that, the tip end. That must have been the highest pixel possible for the DP2 to hit. Into a mix-up position. Got tagged by the low. I think when you don't quite have the tension yet, the low is probably preferable way of hitting them. You should probably get a little bit more than from the DK Yozan. Oh, not believing in whatever the mix-up that Rat was trying to rev up. Here comes the blood burn, trying to hold the opponent in the corner, not reacting this time. Rare footage of Rat missing an anti-air. One more. Yeah, the burst kind of had to happen there. 100 meter. Ooh, the pop, and yeah, of course, sent the gun. Sent the gun at the end. Backwards Fukyo into Beyblade. We're burning here. We're actually gonna pop. It's so interesting seeing Rat pop like this, because otherwise they're being so patient and so like blood economic. But when an opportunity presents itself, we are ready to play the fun stuff SLL. Now we're gonna have to get out of this corner position, this mix-up position. One saving grace. Oh, reset the Escabari into a throw. Yeah, I was about to say, like, one saving grace here is that the high-low is not at its strongest, because PleaseDontLaugh was lacking the necessary resources to follow it up. But I guess that's as good opportunity as any to go for a throw mix-up instead. Ooh, okay, picking up the more damaging anti-air here. Mixing with the 6P, opponent in the corner. Ah, tried to swing another one. But as all Nagoriyuki's heavy buttons, that 2 heavy has around 1 second of recovery as well, which is, in fighting game terms, 60 frames. A lot, that's a lot of frames. So really whiff punishable if you're missing like any of your heavy swings. Or your DP, it's a pretty slow on recovery as well. Here come the mix-ups. Miss the Yozan, go for strike on the ground instead. Oh, actually gets a pickup from that 6P, very nice. -2 in the corner, but the air gun calls out the 6P, back to neutral. Rat has a lead in terms of the tension resources for sure. Trying to wait for, definitely waiting for the instant air dash potentially. Oh, resources ready to be unleashed. Far slap misses. 100 meter, what can we do with that? Drifting into a better anti-air position. An anti-air with a far slash. Oh, that's actually kind of great. Is the anti-air gonna work out? Goes for an air-to-air instead. Tried to convert the last gambit into a throw, but it does not end up paying off. Rat moves on to a very dangerous position here. 6-4. Definitely not over for PleaseDontLaugh yet. But it has to be really precise, very deliberate, and perfect plays from here on out for PleaseDontLaugh. Nice air dash, catching them with this jump slash. That's very, not the most common kind of situation to happen. Like, you connect a very far-reaching jump button and then air dash cancel it, which of course the opponent could anti-air if they're expecting it, but because it's such a rare occurrence, probably might not be ready for it every single time. Ooh, that looked kind of like an option select. Sending the clone, and if the opponent is backdashing, then get a throw. Clean air throw. No OTG, but going for the meaty instead. Set point. Comes the blood burn. Looking for potentially one more heavy strike. The gold burst does escape the heavy strike initially and maybe give you a lot more frames that you would have otherwise. The overhead option sinks in. But I'm surprised that there was no punish on that throw. Maybe because the slowdown of the RC. And here comes Rat, potentially for the last time. Hits a good, another 6P anti-air. Too heavy, pulled it back onto the ground. Chip damage alert. Chip damage alert. Great read, air dash over the 5 heavy. The 5 heavy is kind of like a fireball function. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Gold burst and the chip damage comes in from the clone Hukyo. Wow, I gotta say, this must be one of the most patient Nagoriyukis I've ever seen. A completely different kind of Nagoriyuki playstyle that you tend to see. This is actually glimpse of like Altinid, how Altinid plays certain matchups. Like Nagoriyukis who play like this are very, very rare. Probably because it's like it's maybe a little less effort to take the initiative and bring the fight to them instead of relying on your like neutral sense, your reach, your reactions. Instead, you could be making them guess right from the get-go if you turn on the heat, get in their guard, and force them to guess what's going on. But yeah, that's really interesting Nagoriyuki playstyle. I enjoyed that match quite a bit. But that would also mark the end of our show tonight. Another successful 7 show matches. And if you want to play, for example, in the next event, you can join my Discord. The sign-up forms are going to be posted over there in just a couple of minutes after we go offline. We do this every single Sunday, 5 p.m. CEST, Central European Summertime at the moment. So please do join us in the future as well. Let's see where we could send you. See if there's any Guilty Gear Strive happening at the moment. No events going on at the moment, it looks like. Oh, never mind. There is some sort of event happening. Swiss Slam. Oh boy, what is that? I want to see what that's all about. So let's go rate the streamer of that event. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a good time as much as I did casting these. We'll see you again next Sunday, same time, 5 p.m. CEST. See you there. Till then, stay safe, play Guilty Gear, and bye-bye.